Sometimes Gen Z kids think too much of themselves, and today we have a story of a cringy kid who is convinced he is a quote-unquote Riz God, and spoiler, he has negative game. Put your cringe goggles on and let's just jump right into it.
And we're crying, 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 like a wounded animal.
So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Andrew. So anyways, there was a kid in Andrew's class who one day sat down at Andrew's table with his friends, and Andrew didn't know this kid that well, and we're just going to call him the Gen Z kid or the cringy kid. We're just going to call him we're going to call him the Riz God, but I'm going to call him that ironically, because the kid sits down, and he basically is like, what's good, boys? Like, what's up? And, Andrew doesn't really know this kid, and, Andrew's friend doesn't really know this kid, so they kind of look at him, they're like, what's good, dude? He's like, boys, I don't think you understand, but I've been spending the last couple months studying the art of being a Riz God. You don't understand. I can pick up, any woman ever. I'm willing to bet the whole farm on it, bro. And obviously, Andrew kind of looks at his friends, because, no disrespect, but, this kid definitely did not appear to be, someone who could legitimately pick up anyone. And that's not just necessarily an appearance jab. I mean, he wasn't freaking DiCaprio or anything like that, but he also just the way he held himself, the way he dressed, the aromas coming from him, huge combination of stuff that just really didn't imply him to be a quote-unquote Riz God as he was self-proclaiming to be. So Andrew and his friends were seeing a pretty good betting opportunity. And they're like, all right, okay, man, sure, we'll take the bet. And the kid is like, you guys just messed up right there because you're about to lose some money. Because I'm a Riz God. And they're like, okay, dude, sure. What's terms and conditions of the bet? They say, and the kid's like, I will bet you guys $20 that by the end of the week, I will be able to go on a date with anyone that you choose. So first of all, Andrew and his friends were like, okay, because remember, this was 8th grade. $20 is a pretty huge deal. And $20 is $20, don't get me wrong. But I know especially when I was a kid and there's literally no way for me to make money. Even $1, I was like, dang, dude, I don't know if I can spend $1 on that. So anyways, they were pretty down because they were 95% sure that they're going to win this bet. So they said, okay, sure, dude. Yeah, we'll bet that. And you have to ask out, and they're looking around the lunchroom, right? And they look over at the popular girls table, and there's the pretty popular, they're all pretty, they're all popular, whatever, but the prettiest, most popular girl in their grade, we're going to call her Caroline. They say, you have to ask out Caroline. And they kind of looked at the kid thinking that he would kind of have either a little bit of a nervous or a shocked expression on his face because this was definitely quite an ask. But he looked at them with pure confidence, laughed, and was like, hey, you guys really think that's going to stop me? You don't understand because I am actually a Riz God. Fine, we'll make the bet then. So basically what they agreed was that they found some random guy we're going to call Ben that they were both friendly with, and they were both going to give Ben $20, give Ben $20 each and basically say, hey, these are the rules of the game or whatever. This is the bet we're making, just to make sure that the kid doesn't not pull her, which he definitely won't. And then it's guys, I'm not giving you the $20 or something like that because I don't know, this kid might do that. So basically Ben was the guy in between, making sure that the money was collected and given out to the right person. So anyways, the Riz God himself explains that he has a guaranteed 3-step process that will have 100% success. And he sits down at the lunch table and he explains it to Andrew and his friends. He says, there's 3 steps to asking out a girl. Number 1, you must show her your strength. You must show her that you are strong and powerful so that she knows that you can protect her from the wolves. And Andrew's like, okay. Step 2, you must show off your wealth. You must show that you have a lot of money so that you can support her and you can buy whatever miniature dog she wants to buy. And Andrew's like, okay, bro. He's like, step 3, and also the final step. You need to show that you are an alpha Riz God. And to do that, you must show your dominance when asking her out. Andrew's like, okay. Lol. Basically, the more this kid spoke, the more Andrew and his friends realized that they just secured the most guaranteed $20 of their entire life. Like, sure, maybe you work a job and someone says they're going to give you $20, but you're actually more likely to get $20 betting that this kid is not going to be able to pick up any girl ever than getting $20 in a legally binding contract from your employer. It is just that guaranteed at this point. So Andrew and his friends were like, okay, man, well, you got a week to do it. So, yeah. So anyways, the kid decides to execute stage 1. So the next day, which is show off his strength, right? So the next day, Andrew is happens to see this. He's walking with his friends, and he sees that Caroline is at the end of the hallway talking with her friends by their locker. He also sees that the Riz God himself, the kid, right, is walking with his backpack, but he's walking kind of weird. So that's when he takes out his backpack, and he dumps his backpack out, right? And there's only one thing in his backpack. The one thing in his backpack is a 2.5-pound dumbbell. So I don't know the conversion for the metric folks that watch this, right? But 2.5 pounds is probably the lowest the lightest possible dumbbell that you can find. So just think of on your rack the lightest possible dumbbell. Like, it might be even so light that some gyms don't even carry them, right? So that falls out of the kid's bag, and the kid makes a big scene saying, "Oh no, this really heavy weight just fell out of my backpack. It would be really crazy if I had enough strength to pick it up." And because he was yelling so loud, yeah, Caroline and her friends looked over because they were like, "What's this dweeb yelling about, bro? Like, what?" So they look over, and this kid reaches down, and he's like, "Meow," and he picks it up. And he's making eye contact with Caroline the whole time. She's like, okay, dude. All right. And he's like, "Oh, wow, that was so easy for me, even though that weight was so heavy. I doubt anyone else could pick it up." And he puts it in his backpack, and he walks away. But he walks away from Caroline towards Andrew, and he stops by Andrew, and he's like, "Step 1 complete, Andrew. One more step towards your failure. And for me, I can already think of all the ways that I'm going to be spending your hard-earned $20. And, Andrew's like, "All right, dude, cool. What?" He's like, "Yes, I showed up. The first of 3 tenets to securing any lady you want. First, show off your strength." And I did. She saw me pick up that really heavy weight. And Andrew's like, "Dude, no disrespect, but that was 2.5 pounds. I don't know if that convinced her." And he's like, "Silence! You will see that what I am doing is a very carefully strategized, step-by-step operation. You will see, Andrew." And he storms off. And Andrew turns to his friend. He's like, "Dude, I almost feel bad taking $20 from this kid. Because at this point, this isn't even a bet. This is just saying, hey, man, I'm going to take $20 from you." That's just how secured Andrew felt at this point, right? So, yeah, stage 2 of the kid's plan to become the most insane Riz God on planet Earth. Remember, step 2 is to show off his wealth. So here's the thing. The Riz God has already given up his $20 to the person, the middleman who's holding the bet. So he needs to find another way to show off his immense wealth, right? So the kid isn't really that creative, so he decides to do basically the exact same thing he did for the dumbbell, but with something that you'll see in just a second. This was pretty funny, dude. So anyways, same situation the next day. I think Caroline just had a class around that time, and she also just happened to convene with her friends at that time. And I think Andrew just happened to be walking down there at the same time as well because he had a class. For some reason, the exact same setup as the day before happened. Caroline was at the end of the hallway with her friends. Andrew was walking with one of his friends, and the Riz God himself was walking in with another backpack. And this time, his backpack was completely flat. It looked as if it was entirely empty. This was not the case. So once again, the kid is like, "Oops," and intentionally spills his backpack onto the ground for a second time. And once again, he's being super obvious how loud he's being and very over dramatic to make sure he gets the attention of Caroline. And Caroline looks over, and once again, she's just looking at him like, "What, dude? What's going on?" And out of his backpack, right? He throws his backpack on the ground, and out of his backpack floats 2 single $1 bills. And look, you can buy some stuff with $1, right? $1's not that bad. But it also doesn't, if you have $2, right? No one's going to walk by and be like, man, that guy must be in the top 0.00000000001% of income earners. That guy must rival Elon Musk for the amount of wealth and power he has. He has 2 $1 bills? What? Huh? Okay, look. But not the spoiled kid, but the kid, the Riz God himself, he must have been like low on cash because he already put his like only $20 bill to the bet. And so he had $2 bills, and they kind of floated out very like, you know how like when you drop a piece of paper or like a tissue, it kind of floats like downwards so it doesn't drop immediately. So like the two like $1 bills are kind of just floating in the air, and the kid's like, oh my God, all my great wealth is all over the place right now. Guys, don't steal from me, even though I'm already super rich and it wouldn't matter, but yeah. And like people are just like staring at him because he's saying this really loud. He's like, oh no, look at all this money that's coming out of my backpack. Oh my God. And like Caroline looks at it and she's like, okay. Like, okay, like, dude, okay, whatever. He's like, oh my God, wow, so much money is pouring out of my backpack right now. It's actually kind of crazy right now. It's like, dude, that's a lot of money coming out. It's like $2. Look, no disrespect to $2, bro. Like, I knew that in 8th grade, if like I had $2 in my pocket, I'd feel kind of like a baller. But also, I feel like I'd understand that flexing 2 $1 bills super hard is not going to necessarily get the point across that I will, oh my God, I can buy, oh girlfriend, I can buy you anything because as long as it's under $2 and you don't ask for anything else after that, then I can buy other than that, I can buy you anything. No, okay. So Caroline sees this, she's like, okay. And the kid like puts the $2 bills back into his backpack. But then he pretends to trip again. So the $2 bills, once again, not a $2 bill, that's kind of sick. The 2 $1 bills, once again, fly out of his backpack. Bro is trying to show it off again. He's trying to rinse and repeat the strategy. But it didn't work the first time. So once again, he's like, oh no. All the money's coming out of my backpack again. And at this point, Caroline and her friends just walk away because they're like, this is weird. And this time, he like quickly grabs it up because he sees that Caroline isn't seeing it anymore. And once again, the Riz God himself starts to walk towards the subscriber, Andrew. And it's like, so, you must be trembling in your boots right now. And Andrew's like, dude, what are you saying? Like, what? And the Riz God's like, oh, because I have successfully completed 2 of the 3 tenets that guarantee that any lady will fall in love with me. And Andrew's like, yeah, dude, I'm trembling in my boots? Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, man. No, you're actually spot on with that. I'm really concerned. Also, if you made it this far into the video, comment $dollar down below. It's not going to be Gen Z down below. You guys start guessing the secret word too soon. And if you want to listen on Spotify, the link's in the pinned comment. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure to rate the podcast 5 stars. Helps me out in the algorithm on there. So yeah, anyways, it is finally time for the final tenet of getting any woman to fall in love with you 100% accuracy, never, not a scam, no joke, bro. The final tenet. It is finally time. And the Riz God himself is about to perform. So the next day in lunch, he doesn't take the week to ask this girl out, Caroline. He only takes 3 days. Because 1 day for each tenet, right? He is so confident that he is going to succeed that he just doesn't even wait a week. He doesn't even give himself a week to talk to her. He knows for a fact that these 3 tenets will guarantee that he will achieve the woman of his dreams. Obviously. So anyways, the next day, after the whole $2 incident, we'll call it, lunchtime, Andrew's sitting with his friends, Caroline is sitting with her friends, and Andrew is sitting close enough to Caroline that he could hear conversations a little bit. And if he really tried, he could hear exactly what they're saying. He doesn't because, like, who cares, bro? They're probably just talking about stuff, like, whatever. Andrews is talking with his friends. He has no idea that the Riz God himself is about to ask Caroline out in his final 3rd tenet, which, remember, the final tenet is to prove that you are an alpha Riz God master, right? So whatever the hell that means. I know. It's not going to be good. That's all I know. I don't know what that means. But what I do know is strap in, buckle up, kids, This is going to be bad. And also, take out your pen and paper and start to jot down notes. Here are the notes. Do not do what this kid does. Okay, that's all you need to take notes on. So let's get into it. So Andrew's sitting with his friends, and he sees that the Riz God himself has entered the lunchroom. And the Riz God himself is entering the lunchroom, and he must have learned that about the peacock, the bird, right? And basically the male peacock gets all dressed up and whatever, gets all not dressed up. Okay, the male peacock is very colorful and fancy to attract like the female peacock. So he must have been like, oh, well, I must do the same thing. So bro literally comes in, tie-dye shirt, tie-dye shorts, and somehow got his hands on tie-dye shoes. He must have like, I don't know, bro must have gone to like Riz class from a freaking, I'm actually brain dead. Did I call this? Peacock, dude, I'm so stupid. Live reaction of my brain failing. He must have gone to Riz classes from a freaking peacock, bro. He came in all like tie-dye. Are you serious right now? Like, bro, okay, a tie-dye shirt can work, I guess, but don't come in a tie-dye shirt, shoes, socks, underwear, eyeliner. Just, bro, what? Anyway, so he comes in and he walks super like weird up to her. Like he must have seen some like, this is how alpha males walk. Boom, 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 boom. Like something really stupid like that. So he's like walking up, swinging his arms all strange in his like full tie-dye outfit. And Andrew's mouth drops. Because he's like, I knew the $20 were secured, but oh my God. Anyway, so he goes up. He looks at Caroline. He's like, Caroline, you will go on a date with me right now. Whole lunchroom goes silent. She's like looking at him. Shocked. Too stunned to move or say anything. And Andrew is like, wait, did he just demand that she go on a... What? Dude just demanded that she goes on a date with him. Are you serious right now, bro? What? And the kid's like, yeah, you heard me right, Caroline. You have no choice in this. You are going on a date with me this weekend. And she's like, no. And the kid's like, what? Bro's like, but I did the 3 tenets. What happened? Okay, I'm actually going to blow up my voice, my friends. He's at this point, the Riz God himself is shocked because he's in his head, he's probably thinking, okay, well, I did tenet 1, I showed off my incredible strength, and I did tenet 2, I showed off my immense wealth, and I did tenet 3 by showing my alpha intentionist by asking her out and saying that she has to go out. What happened? What went wrong? What? I did forget one of the tenets. 1, no, 2, no, 3. No, what? Yeah, so basically he's standing there. Everyone's looking at him. Caroline's looking at him. Andrew's looking at him. They're all just looking at each other. They're going, what's going on right now? Yeah, so sure enough, after saying no, the kid's like, that's very funny, Caroline. I knew you were funny and smart and pretty too. So, no, seriously now. We got on a date this weekend? I mean, you have no choice in it. I'm alpha, so I'm not going to let you have a choice. Caroline's like, what? No. Like, sorry, no disrespect, but no. He's like, what? Okay, I get it. You don't want everyone to know you're going on a date with me because they'd be so jealous. Okay, and she's like, no, I'm not going on a date with you. I'm so sorry. Like, nope, that's not happening. And the kid's like, I see. Like, the most sad walk back. And he walks by, Andrew's table. And the guy, Ben, who's holding on to the $20, he gives both $20 to Andrew. And Andrew turns to his friends, and they shake their heads. They're like, no. Andrew goes up to the kid, gives him his $20 back. And the Riz God is like, but you wanted $20. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, man. I'm sorry. And Andrew's like, bro, it's good. Like, don't worry about it. Like, we shouldn't have made you do that. Like, that was kind of messed up. He said, look, I have some friends that, they have girlfriends. They've done pretty successful. If you really want to know what it takes, we'll help you out, man. And, they they don't really, like, become best friends with the quote-unquote Riz God anymore. But he actually does take them up on the offer, and, like, they give him a little bit of advice, like, bro-to-bro advice. Like, first of all, invest in deodorant, man. we will pay you to invest in deodorant, right? And the other thing is like, look, you gotta talk to women. He's like, what? You gotta talk to women, man. No way. Yeah, okay. But anyways, eventually the kid doesn't become the Riz God, but he becomes less insane, which that's a win for all of us, right? Gen Z is easily the softest generation, and this story is proof. Put on your cringe goggles and let's just jump right in.
And we're crying, crying, crying like a wounded animal.
So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Kevin. So anyways, right, there was this thing in Kevin's class called the push-up test in gym class, right? So basically what would happen is the beginning of the year, you would do as many push-ups as you possibly can. And then at the end of the year, you'd be tested to see how many push-ups you can do by the end of the year. And the whole idea behind it is that basically you'd be able to do more push-ups in the beginning, or you'd be able to do less push-ups in the beginning. And because of all your work in gym class or whatever, that maybe you'd be able to do more towards the end. So it wasn't like that big of a deal. However, it was kind of a big deal at the school, since everyone during the push-up test would be a little nervous because they'd want to perform well. And sometimes people would crowd around and watch, which I can understand this, like the stress and anxiety for that. Dude, I used to have a push-up test in middle school, and like people would always like look around and watch, and they'd be so nosy. They'd be like, how many push-ups did you get? I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, bro. I'm a little skeleton, bro. Like definitely in middle school, I was built like those Minecraft skeletons, so I was not repping out 100,000 push-ups. I'll just tell you that. Push-ups are a pretty good exercise to know how to do. And if you can't do any, there's definitely no shame to it. But I would definitely suggest trying to figure out how to do one. If you got to go on your knees, that's totally cool. It's good for you. But at the end of the day, as long as you don't have to like push-ups, but as long as you don't act like the Gen Z kid in this video, then we're chilling. So anyways, the first push-up test in the very beginning of the year already happened. And it was towards the end of the year, and that means that the second push-up test, aka the final push-up test, was coming along, right? So anyways, Kevin, the subscriber, and his friends were just kind of chilling one day. They were just hanging out, and it was like the day before the push-up test. So they must have been saying something about it, because Kevin and his friend group were kind of a little bit competitive about it. It's not as if they really liked the push-up test, but they were like, oh, I can do more than you. Oh, you can do 2? Well, dude, I can do at least 50% more than you. I can do 3. Oh my God, right? So yeah, they were kind of talking about it, and that's when the Gen Z kid comes up to them. He's like, don't be part of the system. Protest the push-up test with me. And Kevin looks at this kid and is like, dude, like what? Like, why are you protesting the push-up test, dude? Like, why? He's like, well, the push-up test is discriminatory, so we're going to protest it, and it won't happen. So here's the thing, dude. I could totally understand, and I would probably stand with the Gen Z kid, if people with legitimate reasons why they couldn't be doing the push-up test were forced into doing the push-up test. Like, if the gym teacher, like, pointed out some kid who's in a wheelchair and is like, get your lazy butt out of your wheelchair and start doing push-ups, 10 right now. Look, okay, I would totally understand why that is a problem. However, Kevin asked, oh, how's the push-up test discriminatory? And he's like, it's discriminatory because I don't like it and it's discriminating against my preferences. And Kevin's like, dude, what are you saying right now? And Kevin goes on to say, well, dude, I don't really like doing math. Like, I don't like taking my math exam. It's against my preferences, I guess. It's not in line with my preferences, but bro, like, that's just a math exam. Like, I know I need to take, like, I don't have to do everything just because I don't like something doesn't mean I'm going to protest it. And at this point, the Gen Z kid's like, so you're either with me or you're against me. And Kevin's like, well, I'm definitely not with you on this. And if that's my only two options, I guess I'm against protesting the push-up test just because you don't like doing push-ups. And the Gen Z kid is like, so you're for discrimination. And Kevin's like, yo, pause, don't say that, dude. What? Like, chill out, bro. Calm down. And he's like, no, I'm not. What are you saying? No, I'm just against protesting the push-up test because you don't like to do push-ups. Like, that is such a dumb reason. And at this point, the Gen Z kid's like, you're lucky that I'm not going to protest you as well. And the Gen Z kid says, you guys will see. And real quick, leave a like and subscribe or you are a Gen Z kid, dude. No joke, no scam. So basically, the Gen Z kid starts running away, like runs off, storms off to go talk to other people and try and convince them to join his cause. And Kevin and his friends are basically like, there's not a shot that anyone does what this kid said. Like, there is no chance that the Gen Z kid actually is able to get people together to go and protest with them. He's not going to be able to get anyone together to protest this. And they were actually wrong. So the Gen Z kid must have gotten together enough people that just didn't want to do the push-up test wasn't fun. Like, a lot of people dreaded it. So I think a lot of people were just kind of decided to go along with the kind of faulty logic, kind of like the faulty reasoning of, I don't like the push-up test because it's discriminatory against my preferences because I don't like doing it. Like, not even like, look, as I said before, if there's like legitimate people with legitimate reasons being forced into doing the push-up test, dude, I'd totally get that. I'd probably support it. I'd understand it. But they're literally just protesting the push-up test because it's doing something you don't want to do. Bro, I swear to God, the kryptonite to anyone in Gen Z, and look, I'm in Gen Z, so I'm not talking about you guys, but a lot of, at least the stereotypical Gen Z, is doing something hard that you don't want to do. At the end of the day, if you don't do things that are hard, how can you appreciate things that, like, it's important to do things that are hard. It's important to build character. If everything is easy, then what is a good thing? What is something that's easy? But anyways, right, it's not the point of the video. The point is that the next day, Kevin shows up with the boys, and they're rolling into gym class, and they see the most insane thing ever. So basically what Kevin and his friends see is they see a mob of people. So many people with signs, doing chants, and okay, so many people meaning like 15 or 20 out of like 100 people in his grade. But dude, 15 people like chanting with signs and like a full-on protest is a lot of people. Also, the fact that the Gen Z kid was able to find 14 other people that would go along with such backward logic of, since I don't want to do something and you make me do it, then you're discriminating against my preferences of what I want to do. Therefore, you're discriminating. Therefore, I will protest you. Yeah, it was the most backwards, insane logic ever. So Kevin and his friends get there, and they're kind of just waiting to do the push-up test. It's not like any of them were super excited to do it, but they kind of just wanted to get it out of the way. And if anything, Kevin's like, dang, like this is kind of annoying because these people are kind of in our way. Like they're kind of being annoying right now. And so sure enough, they get there, and the people are doing a chant. Like, I don't even know what the chant is, but it's something stupid. And the two physical education teachers are kind of standing there kind of far away talking with each other. And Kevin's like, there's no way that we're actually going to not do the push-up test because these people are protesting, right? So Kevin and his boys go up to talk with these people. So they go up to the crowd and they find two people, and Kevin's like, so do you like really stand by the cause here, or do you just not want to do the push-up test? And one person said, no, this is totally right. The Gen Z kid is so on point. The push-up test needs to be canceled immediately. I'm already writing a Twitter thread about it. But like one of the guys who's there is just like, dude, I don't even know what I'm doing. I just don't want to do the push-up test, man. And Kevin's like, okay, I disagree with what you're doing, but at least respect for the honesty and being straight up, because I know most of the people here will not be straight up about this with me. I know that for a fact. So yeah, the protest is continuing on. So remember, there's like 100 people that are lining up. Like, gym is pretty quick. Like, there isn't a lot of time. And the push-up test is like you stand in a line. It's like, all right, your name. Boom, let's do it. Go down as many as you can. And kids weren't doing like 7 minutes worth of push-ups or something. So like they always were able to find enough time. And I think like they can't have 100 people in there at once. So it's probably like a third of the class goes in at this period or whatever. And they were the first period to do the push-up test. So there's like, 15, 20 other people just kind of standing there waiting around. Like the protesters were standing like in a big swarm or whatever. And the other guys were kind of just chilling on the sidelines, kind of just thinking, dude, like, what am I going to do right now? Like, what's even going on? So Kevin and the boys go up to the other guys. They're kind of just standing around there. They're all kind of like, Kevin's like, so what are we doing? Like, it's been 10 minutes. And everyone kind of looks over and they see the two PE teachers talking to each other kind of intensely. Like they're going back and forth, they're speaking, whatever. And that's when they see some kind of school administrator walk in and start talking with the PE teachers. And they seem to be pointing at the protesters, and the protesters seem to see this, and it's almost like it invigorates some fire within them, so they start chanting louder and doing whatever, right? And, the PE teachers are talking with the administrator, and the PE teachers look like they're pretty upset. Like they're upset with what the administrator is saying. And Kevin points this out. And Kevin's like, look, it's like the PE teachers don't really look that happy right now, bro. Like, do you think there's actually a chance that we don't do like our physical that we don't do the push-up test just because these people don't want to, because they don't want to? Like they're protesting it literally just because they don't want to. And real quick, comment push-up down below. Secret word of the day. And also listen on Spotify to these stories. Link down below in the pinned comment to the Spotify. And if you're listening on Spotify, please rate 5 stars. It helps me out. Anyways, so they're all kind of just sitting there like, dude, what's going on right now? And so eventually the 2 PE teachers are talking with each other. They're talking back and forth. The protesters are getting louder. And that's when the 2 PE teachers and the school administrator all start walking towards all the kids. So the school administrator is like, silence, silence, like quiet down. And, the protesters quiet down for a second. All the other kids were pretty quiet anyways. And the administrator's like, the school administration has heard what you guys have said. We are listening to you. We're allies with what you're doing. And we want to let you know that the push-up test has officially been canceled. So here's the thing, dude. Not even the push-up test has been made optional, which would be, I would understand a little bit more. I still definitely think protesting something just because you don't feel like it is pretty stupid. But at least making it optional, okay. I guess I could understand that a little bit more. But the thing is, dude, she straight up cancels that thing. That's probably why the PE teachers were so mad. I think the school administration's like, all right, if kids are this mad about it, like, we can't risk, actually like hosting an event that people get this upset about, even if like it's stupid. I think that like the PE teachers were probably arguing like, dude, just like make it optional. Like, maybe we don't have to force it on everyone, even though we probably should. But whatever, can we at least keep it optional? I think the school teachers like, we're not risking anything here. So the protesters are all cheering. They're like, yay, whatever, we got what we wanted. And, Kevin turns to his friends. He's like, what? And all the other kids are kind of talking to each other because, look, the kids there, they didn't necessarily want to do the push-up test. No one was like, oh, yeah, like, I can't wait to do a bunch of push-ups in front of a bunch of strangers and have them judge me and, et cetera, like that. But at the same time, they also realized that, like, you got to do hard things sometimes, man. So, yeah, PE was actually canceled that day. It was turned into recess, which Kevin's like, bro, what? Like, this is my PE time. Like, what do you mean recess? I'm just going to go sit in the classroom with the friends. Like, I already have time to do that, right? So sure enough, Kevin and his friends go up to like the Gen Z kid afterwards. And the Gen Z kid's like, so how does it feel to be on the losing team? And Kevin and his friends are like, look, yeah, I mean, you got your way in this, but can you not at least see like where this is kind of messed up? And he's like, what? If it was messed up, well, then they would have sided with you. But it turns out that your backwards view of, your backwards way of viewing things is why they sided with me. And Kevin's like, no, like, they're obviously just scared that you guys are going to be, like, so annoying about it that they just canceled the whole thing. And Kevin's like, did you ever think there was possibly some of our preferences to do the push-up test? And in fact, what you're doing now by making it canceled and forced to canceling it is actually discriminating against our preferences. And the Gen Z kid is like, no, impossible. I'm right. You are wrong. Take the L. Default dance. I'm going to go back on Twitter. Whatever. So eventually, Kevin and his friends, they feel a little defeated. Not that they necessarily really liked the push-up test, but, I don't know, man. They were just like, nah. They didn't like what happened. So Kevin and his friends decided that even though the push-up test was not allowed to be administered by the school, that in fact, Kevin and his friends were going to do something about this. This story has a good ending. It doesn't end here. Oh yeah. So anyways, Kevin and his friends start rallying up some of the other kids, right? They start going around, they say, hey man, here's the thing. The push-up test was officially canceled by the school for stupid reasons that we don't agree with. But that doesn't mean the push-up test can't happen. Obviously, the other kids are a little bit confused by this. They're like, dude, what do you mean? The push-up test can't happen right now. And Kevin's like, no. And his friends are like, no. They're like, How about we host the push-up test? We know our scores. We can just be truthful about them. And we'll host a push-up test tomorrow at recess for anyone who wants to do it. And so sure enough, Kevin went around and started like telling people that tomorrow at recess, that if they wanted to perform in an unofficial push-up test to see if they improved or just to get their numbers or just to do the push-up test, that they can. And they got, the next day at recess, Kevin and his friends were kind of expecting like, okay, we're asking kids to come in their own free time to voluntarily do push-ups that, you know, they probably didn't want to do in the first place. Kevin and his friends had really low expectations for how this whole thing was going to turn out, right? But what happened was pretty shocking because so many kids showed up. Like, okay, not as many people as the people who would have showed up if it was mandatory, obviously, right? I think that's pretty obvious. But at the end of the day, quite a good handful, right? If there's 100 kids in his class, and 15 of them were the protesters. So, and Kevin and his friends were like 5. So out of the 80 remaining kids, they talked to about 60 of them. And out of those 60, 30 showed up. 50% of asking people to come out of their free, so 50% of the people who were asked to come out of their free time, to do push-ups, to do something hard, and 30 of them showed up, 50% of them showed up. That's crazy. That's a really good number. So Kevin and his friends were really excited. They were like, all right, let's do it. And so sure enough, they went through and they did, you know, what the push-up test would have been like. Obviously, they were a little bit less strict about it. So if someone's last push-up was a little bit kind of sus or whatever, they would round it up. It was a really great atmosphere. And the Gen Z kid comes over, is like, no, no, no. And he comes over with like 2 of the other protesters. They said, the push-up test is officially canceled. You cannot be doing the push-up test right now. That is unacceptable. And Kevin's like, this is our own private push-up test. We're doing it. We're having fun by ourselves. You don't have to do it. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. This is not discriminating against your preferences. And so the Gen Z kid's like, oh, I don't think so. So the Gen Z kid immediately runs over to get like one of the staff members or something and brings them down. And the Gen Z kid's like, look at them. They're breaking the rules. And so, I mean, dude, you're pointing at a bunch of kids just doing push-ups, right? Is that really against the rules, dude? Like, is that really against the rules? And the staff member looks at the Gen Z kid and says, they're not breaking any rules. Like, they're not forcing you to do anything. And the Gen Z kid's like, what? No. Leave a like for nothing. I mean, dude, I'm honest, so leave a like. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new story. And just for a second, imagine you're just chilling in class. You're having a pretty good old time, right? And then all of a sudden, right, this Roblox kid goes to the front of the classroom and just confesses his love via a Roblox video of him doing certain things. Yeah, I can't even really get into it. I know this sounds very vague, but it's really bad. So sit back, relax, subscribe if you're new, and let's just jump right into it. So anyways, we're going to call a subscriber who submitted this story Bryce. So anyways, there's this kid in Bryce's class who was always playing Roblox. Like, he always sat in the back of the class, and he always had his computer out. He was playing Roblox. I think the teacher kind of knew that this was the case, but there are so many kids in the class, and the teacher was kind of with the mindset, like, if they want to learn, they'll learn, and if not, like, I'm not going to interfere, which I don't know if that's a good mindset or a bad mindset, but either way, it just was how it was. So anyways, he was kind of known as the Roblox kid because every single day, without fail, he would be playing Roblox. Like, if you ever saw him, he would be playing Roblox, and sometimes he'd even have the sound on, which is kind of funny, but whatever, right? And occasionally he would wear like a Roblox hoodie or something, but the reason is, every single day, without fail, this kid was playing Roblox. Like, literally no matter what, he was always playing Roblox. So we're literally skipping right towards the juicy part. I mean, the whole thing's the juicy part, but we're getting to it right away. They had a presentation this Thursday, and we're actually going to jump to Thursday. This was a history class, and they were studying, the Civil War, and each of them was supposed to go up and present a slideshow of just like something that happened in the Civil War. It could be a battle, it could be a general overview, it could be a character piece, like you could do one about the life of Abraham Lincoln. These kids were given weeks to do it, right? So anyways, the subscriber Bryce goes up and he speaks about the Battle of Gettysburg or whatever. A little fun fact, in 8th grade, I actually went to go to see the Gettysburg and the battlefields and all that cool stuff with my class. It was a really cool time. But anyways, right, Bryce goes up there. He does a good job with his presentation. And the next person to be called up is the Roblox kid. And normally I save very interesting stuff like this for later on. I'm blessing you guys because we're jumping straight into the cringe. Actually, I don't know if I'm blessing you guys or if I'm cursing you guys because we're jumping straight into the cringe. And when I say straight into the cringe, I mean legitimately straight into the cringe. This is bad. So just prepare yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually because this is going to be quite the experience to say the least. So anyways, the Roblox kid goes up to the front of the classroom. And everyone's kind of just looking at him, right? And he flips on his presentation, and from the very start, actually no, in the very start it looked normal because it was an image with text on it that says, The Life of Abraham Lincoln by Roblox Kid. He obviously said his real name, but for the sake of this, The Life of Abraham Lincoln by Roblox Kid. Immediately, the first slide is the goofiest thing ever. So Bryce is looking at it, and on the first slide, it is a Roblox character with a top hat on, and there's an arrow pointing to him, and then text that says Lincoln. And then there's more text that says, Lincoln was a good guy. Lincoln was a president. And then, and the Roblox kid went up there and is literally just reading out, Lincoln is a good guy. Lincoln was a president. And then he goes to the next slide, and it is, dude, this is the funniest thing ever. It is the Roblox character of Lincoln, but his head is on the ground. It's decapitated from his body. And the next slide says, Lincoln died. It literally just said, Lincoln died. Okay, at least he didn't say Lincoln took the ratio, young boy's better than Lincoln. At least he wasn't going like that, right? But he was Lincoln died. Literally, no context. Who was he shot by? He was shot after Revolutionary War. Did it happen in a movie theater or not a movie theater, you know what I mean? A theater. Well, was who was the name of it? No, just Lincoln died. And then it was a photo of a Roblox character with his head on the ground decapitated and an arrow pointing to him saying, it literally an arrow pointed to it and said died. Not here lies Lincoln from whatever, right? It just says died. So the entire class is holding back laughter because this is the worst presentation on planet Earth. Because oh look, these kids are in 6th or 7th grade or something, so it's not they're coming out with college PhD thesis type things. These are not dissertations that are being dissected by other professors, right? Sure, whatever. It's a little slideshow presentation. However, most people had pictures and a lot of text, and the pictures were not Roblox characters with arrows pointing to them saying Lincoln or not Lincoln. But here's the thing. It gets so much worse. So much worse that you guys probably won't even be able to comprehend how bad it is, right? So the next slide, I don't even know if I comprehend how bad this is. The next slide is just text. So just a little recap. We've had 3 slides so far. The first one saying The Life of Abraham Lincoln. The second one being a Roblox character with a top hat saying this is Lincoln. He was cool. He was chill. He was a chiller, right? The next slide was the Roblox character with his head on the floor saying he died, lol. And then the next slide says, okay, let's talk about something much more important. So at this point, Bryce was sitting in the classroom. He's like, bro, much more important. This is your presentation, dude. What are you talking about? Are you trying to sabotage yourself here? Because it definitely feels like it. And, everyone in the class was kind of confused. And for some reason, the teacher wasn't stopping the Roblox kid. I think the teacher was kind of hoping that the Roblox kid, the first couple of slides were a joke. And while the teacher didn't find it very funny, the teacher was hoping that the Roblox kid was going to make a bit of a recovery. So I bet the teacher at this point thought, oh, okay, well, the Roblox kid was obviously kidding. He's saying, let's talk about something more important. He's probably going to, go over to talking about, the life of Abraham Lincoln. No, the teacher and everyone else was unfortunately wrong because the Roblox kid goes on to just do the most insane thing I've ever seen. And you guys, look, I told you before to buckle in for the cringe. You guys got to strap in for the cringe. This is an atomic blast of the cringe. So you have to lay straight down on the floor. Make sure it doesn't destroy your lungs and eyes and everything. All your internal organs don't turn inside out with this. So just prepare yourselves. So anyways, the Roblox kid clicks onto the next slide. And it is a video. So you know how in like Google Slides you can click onto a video? It is an unlisted YouTube link. So he clicks into it and it goes over to YouTube. And all of a sudden, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. Guys, I think I'm gonna pass away from the cringe, guys. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel to help me survive. Anyways, so all of a sudden, you know the song like What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction? Yeah, that starts playing. And everyone is super confused because Bryce knows for a fact that this was definitely not music to fit the timepiece. Yeah, I don't think this is like Civil War Abraham Lincoln music. I don't know, man. This just doesn't really seem like it. And all of a sudden, while that song, What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction is playing, a video appears on screen of the Roblox kid Roblox character. And it's like a screen recording of him running around this map with like text appearing on the screen. You know how it's like you can have like your Roblox character have like a text bubble? I don't know if that's actually true. I don't really play it myself, but I've seen like meme images or whatever. So at first, the Roblox character is just like saying the words of the lyrics. So he's like, "You're insecure, not sure what's for." Dude, I'm not looking at the lyrics right now. Like turning heads when you walk through the door or something like that. Okay, you know the song I'm talking about. I butchered the lyrics, but in all fairness, I'm trying to get them from the top of my head, and I haven't heard that song in like a year or last night, either one. But yeah, so everyone is super confused. Bryce kind of turns to his friends. The teacher's just like, okay, like I'm going to let this play because like I don't know where this is going. But everyone is realizing that this is going downhill extremely quickly. And no one realizes like why this, like where this is actually going. Until like after like a little bit of the Roblox characters like dancing on screen and like singing the lyrics to the One Direction song, eventually, like the Roblox character, like it zooms in on him and the music's still playing in the background, but the text is no longer like the text of the song. It is, so there's a girl who we're going to call Eve in this class, and she's sitting in the front row. Rest in peace, Eve, bro, because she's about to get slammed by the Roblox kid, completely embarrassed in front of everyone. So, the text on screen of the Roblox kid's presentation turns from saying the One Direction lyrics to saying, like, I have a super important question for you, and then Eve, her name appears on screen, and everyone, dude, I feel bad for this girl, because, like, as soon as her name appeared on screen in this dumpster fire of a presentation, literally everyone, including the teacher, turned their heads to look directly at her, which is such a tough situation, because, like, bro was just existing, bro was just chilling, trying to, like, live life or whatever, and then all of a sudden, she just gets completely destroyed, gets a left hook to the face, like, you just simply hate to see it, right? And all of a sudden, like, the text on screen turns to, like, Eve, will you go out with me? And it says this for, like, 5 seconds. And Bryce, even though it was only on screen for, like, 5 seconds, Bryce says that this is probably the longest 5 seconds of his life. He's never seen a 5-second duration go by any slower. And all of a sudden, right, the Roblox character on screen starts doing, like, a break dance. Like, it is the worst thing I've ever seen. I will say that there are worse ways to ask out girls, and if this video gets 1,000 likes, I clear 1,000 likes all the time, but if this gets 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours, I will tell you the worst story of how to ask out a girl, and it's from me. It is a personal story, so you better smash like right now, and I will do it. I'm a man of my word. It is embarrassing, it is terrible, it is awful, but it is funny, and if it gets more engagement on the video, then I'll sell my soul for anything anyways. So yeah, the Roblox character is like breakdancing in the background. And remember, this is during a history class presentation on the frickin' Civil War. And all of a sudden, there's just a Roblox character breakdancing while the Roblox kid, literally, I don't know if dude thinks he was asking to marry her, because the Roblox kid gets on one knee, and everyone's like, what is this kid doing? Roblox kid gets on one knee, and like... I don't know why he was on one knee, but he was. I think he saw like a movie where someone proposed, and he's like, oh, this is how it works. He's like, Eve, will you be my girlfriend? And while this is happening, like a really like poorly edited in audio. So it's really grainy audio of like What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction is looping in the background while there's a video of this Roblox character breakdancing on screen. Like, it is the biggest dumpster fire anyone has ever seen. Everyone at this point is completely shocked. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Roblox down below. That'll be the secret word of the day. I'll try and heart a bunch of the comments. I can't always because, look, full-time college student as well, also trying to have a life. However, it's not that hard for me to go through and heart a bunch of them. So if you comment Roblox, I'll do my best to do that. And also, if you want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is after you're done watching this video, go ahead and binge watch a bunch of videos. And please let me know in the comment section how many videos you watched today or this week. Because when you watch my old videos, it helps the channel get promoted more, which helps our community grow. And it's awesome. It's great. I just want to say thank you. So let me know in the comment section if you are doing that so I can say thank you personally. Yeah, so just a little recap of what is happening. And by the way, prepare yourself for the cringe because it's pretty bad at this point. But anyways, the Roblox kid has gone up to give a presentation on Abraham Lincoln. The first two slides were crappily edited in Roblox characters, where the first one just has a top hat, and the second one just has his head fallen off, right? So not super great. And then it converts to like, let's talk about something more important. And then it's a video of his Roblox character running around, screaming out the lyrics to One Direction's like, What Makes You Beautiful. And then it turns to the Roblox character breakdancing while the Roblox kid goes on one knee and asks this girl out in front of everyone. So yeah, at this point, like Bryce is Bryce is just like so shocked and confused because, dude, this all happened within the span of like 2 minutes. And the Roblox kid is like, yeah, so at this point, you know, I don't know. Bryce just wasn't expecting anything like this to happen. Like, he's just like, this all happened so quickly, just for context. Like, 1 second in, this happens. The next second in, like, or like 1 second in, they're all doing, like, Civil War presentations. The next second in, this Roblox kid is trying to ask out this girl with a Roblox dancing icon, and he's down on one knee. And it's just, like, a huge mess. It's just like, dude, what is even going on at this point? And, yeah, it is the most awkward...
Oh my god, it's Connor Pugs. I've never seen your face in real life. You're so sexy.
Dude, how do these fans keep getting in? Security! Security! Anyways, guys. Yeah, anyways, so at this point, the teacher is starting to realize what is going on. Like, the teacher, like, is kind of snaps to it. And remember, the Roblox kid is literally is literally on one knee and is just like, will you go out on a date with me? And, poor Eve, bro. Like, everyone's just looking at her. And the teacher goes up to him, is just like, what is wrong with you? Like, the teacher full on says, what is wrong with you? Which, like, the teacher's not wrong, dude. Like, what is wrong with this kid, bro? Like, can't be going up to people in class and just, like, asking them out when you're supposed to be doing the life of Abraham Lincoln. Like, it's a little bit different. And the Roblox kid is like, you're a hater of my love. You're a hater like John Wilkes Booth or whichever one shot Lincoln. You're a hater just like him. I'm like Lincoln. You're like John Wilkes Booth. And you're shooting me in the head metaphorically. And the teacher's like, why didn't you say that in your thing? It's like, because the teacher started to like freak out because the Roblox kid actually knew the history. He actually knew who shot Abraham Lincoln. He knew the context. But bro decided not to put it in his presentation because he was too busy doing like... Dude, he was too busy doing Roblox dances to ask out this girl. So at this point, the Roblox kid is like, you can't stop me. You can't stop me and my love. And at this point, Eve just has her head down on the desk like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. And everyone feels so bad for her. But they're also just so curious, like, what is going on with the Roblox kid, right? So at this point, the Roblox kid, like, the teacher starts walking towards the Roblox kid because the teacher's going to escort him to the front office. But the Roblox kid says, no, I must have an answer. You can't take me away. So the Roblox kid starts to run around the classroom. So the desks are kind of in a, just imagine a normal classroom. So the Roblox kid starts weaving in and out between the desks. He's just kind of like dodging in between the desks, sliding under chairs, knocking stuff over. And while he's doing this, right, because like the teacher's starting to close in on him, but the teacher's not going to slide tackle him, dude. He knows better. But while he's doing this, he's shouting like, Eve, do you hear me? Eve, will you be my Roblox girlfriend? Eve, will you be my Roblox girlfriend? And at this point, Bryce is like, oh my God, what is going on right now, dude? What is going on? And the Roblox kid is just kind of like jumping around, jumping. And at this point, right, you know, I think Eve is starting to realize that if she doesn't say, like, this is a terrible position, and I feel really bad for her because, like, dude, you definitely don't want to.
Ball, thing. Oh, are you recording right now?
Yeah, my balls are actually, yeah, I got my set of balls in on Amazon. Wait, they can't hear this. No! We've had a lot of lore in today's video, like a lot of, anyways though, so at this point, the teacher is just like, he's running after the Roblox kid. The Roblox kid is running back and forth, and I think Evie at this point kind of just knows that she needs to say, like, she needs to say something, so she kind of, like, stands up, which is tough for her, because, like, this is obviously super embarrassing. She stands up and says, I'm sorry, like, I don't think we should, like, go on a date or something, or, like, I have to decline. However she said it very politely, she said it very nicely, and, you know, the Roblox kid stops running. And that's when the teacher catches up to him and kind of grabs him, and the Roblox kid literally slumps on the floor, almost like he was shot with, like, a tranquilizer dart, dude. Like, he just slumps on the frickin' floor, like, he's just down for the count. And, you know, everyone is kind of looking around, because it's like, what do we do about this? And the teacher is like, come on, get up. And the Roblox kid's like, no. When my heart is broken, my legs are broken too. Like, kid is being super melodramatic. Apparently, he's never even talked to this girl, the one that he asked out in front of the whole class. He's never spoken to her once. He just saw her once and was like, oh, this girl's pretty. Let me ask her out during my Abraham Lincoln presentation, because that makes a lot of sense, right? And the kid's literally slumped on the floor. He's like, no, my broken heart has paralyzed my entire body. Meh. And the teacher's like, dude, get up. He's like, no, I will get up when she says yes. And at this point, the teacher's like, hell no. Because, like, the teacher, it was already in a terrible, she's already in a terrible situation. You got some weirdo in front of everyone being like, go on a date with me now or else. And then all of a sudden, this kid decides that he is also going to pull if she doesn't go on a date with me, I'm just going to be collapsed on the floor forever. Feel bad for me, guys. Like, no, that's definitely, like, he's drawing the line there. We're not letting this one slide. Yeah, basically, right? So the teacher pulls him up, because the teacher, you know, he can't be too physical with this kid, because he can get in trouble and lawsuits and whatever. But he grabs the kid by the scruff of his collar and, like, yanks him up and is like, you've been distracting enough today. Like, you caused enough drama. You've caused enough trouble. You're going to the front office with me. So he drags him out to the front office. And afterwards, the classroom is just dead silent. Until one guy who's sitting next to Eve kind of speaks up and says, I'm so sorry. And literally after that kid says, I'm so sorry, the whole classroom, dude, including Bryce, chimes in to say, yeah, that's so that's so tough. I'm so sorry about that. If you need anything, like, everyone was being so nice to her, because they realized this, like, dude, like, this is the day of a presentation. This is already kind of a stressful day, but everyone kind of knew that, like, yeah, no, I mean, no one wanted this, and she definitely did not ask for this, and, like, if this happened to any of them, they would have known that they would have just, like, they would have had the worst day ever. So, yeah, everyone was super nice to Eve after that point. The Roblox kid did get in trouble. He obviously, he would have failed his presentation, but the teacher said, I'm going to give you another chance to redo the presentation. And he did, and the presentation actually wasn't that bad. But the kid didn't get a great grade, because the teacher's like, I'm not going to give you a great grade even if the presentation's really good, but just feel lucky I'm giving you a chance to try at least again. So yeah, moral of the story is don't ask out your crush via your Abraham Lincoln presentation and with a Roblox video dancing to One Direction, going on one knee, and run. Dude, I think the moral of the story is
Click on the video on
clear.
screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.
Leave a like on this video for nothing. I mean, hey man, I'm being honest at least. What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new story. And just for 1 second, hear me out. Imagine enjoying your class, paying attention, being with your friends, learning, right? Such a great environment. Well, it was a great environment until a psycho furry out of nowhere decides to try and attack you by sitting on you and crushing you, and you just kind of sit there. And at that very moment, you just question your life. You're just like, why? What? So that's actually the story we have today. So sit back, relax, subscribe if you're new, maybe grab something to eat, get comfortable, and let's just jump right into the story. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted the story Benji. So anyways, there was a furry guy in their class. And first thing I want to say is, like, there are definitely some furries who watch me, because there have been some in the comments on my other videos. I really don't care what you do. Like, honestly, like, I support you if that's what you want to do, and I genuinely have nothing against you if that's your hobby. If you like dressing up like animals, dude, like, do I get it? No. Do I do it? No. But, like, I don't care, like, genuinely. However, if you just, this following sentence is very funny. If you decide that you want to go sitting on people to try and crush them, to beat them or something, that's not okay. That's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the damn line, dude. Anyways, though, yeah, so there's a furry guy, and we're going to name him Ben, and he had this furry girlfriend, and at their school, they were allowed to come in full fursuits. I think the kid, or the teachers and the staff, were just like, kids these days, like, we don't understand it. As long as they're not harming other people, we don't really care. So you would see people walking around in class or in the school, maybe with like a tail on, maybe with those like gamer cat ear things. So, and like, but a few of them go in full fursuit, which in all fairness was a little distracting in the beginning, but here's the thing. Believe it or not, if someone comes to your class in a fursuit the first time, you will be distracted, but probably by the 100th time, it just becomes normal to you. So Ben, the furry, right, had a furry girlfriend, the only other person in the school that wore like full fursuits or whatever, and also happened to be a girl, so they were, of course, they were in a relationship. And one day, this story all starts one day, when Benji was in the class with both Ben, Benji and Ben. That's a little bit too close. Remember, Ben is the name of the furry. Benji is the name of the subscriber. I really hope I don't mix those up, because that'd be very confusing. But anyways, one day, this all started one day in class. And in this very class, Benji, Ben, and Ben's furry girlfriend were all in the same class. And this all started one day when this was a class of a lot of people, right? There was a lot of people in this class. So Benji got in late this day, so he had to sit in the back of the classroom. Because the Ben, the furry, and also his furry girlfriend would always kind of sit in the back of the classroom so that they could, like, make out in their fursuits, or I don't even know, dude. But yeah, they would do you know what, Benji, he was always sitting in the kind of like the middle of the classroom, because that's kind of where his friends were. He wasn't in the far back where the unknown regions where Ben was doing whatever unspeakable things with his furry girlfriend back there. But he also wasn't in the front of the class, because Benji wasn't that type of kid to really sweat class that hard, so he wasn't like grinding super hard. But yeah, today he got in late, so every seat in the middle of the class was full. So he was forced to go to the way back, and he had to sit right next to Ben, the furry, and his girlfriend. Remember, he had no issue with Ben being a furry. He didn't care. You can do what you like. You can dress up as an old Russian woman for all I care about, bro. Like, I seriously do not care. However, PDA is where I draw the line. I said this earlier in one of my other videos. The freshmen at my college, they need to be stopped. We need Rice Gum from 2016 to come back and make a video telling them that they need to be stopped. The PDA is ridiculous. Anyways, so Benji's sitting there, and he sits down. I don't think Benji really knew how much nonsense went on down there. So, like, Ben, the furry, would turn to while they're sitting in class, Benji's just trying to pay attention, and he hears, "What's good, baby? Wanna pet my tail?" He's like, "What the fuck? Dude, what?" He turns around, and he sees Ben, the furry, right, just, like, petting his furry girlfriend. Like, Benji's just like, dude. Benji's like, okay, I'm just going to focus on what I'm doing. And that's when Ben, the furry, turns to his furry girlfriend. He's like, "Let me spit in your mouth, baby." And he goes in, and he, like, with his fursuit head thing on, he, like, kisses his furry girlfriend in the mouth. Dude, I don't know how this works. I'm reading this Instagram DM where Benji sent me the story. I don't totally get it. I'm just telling the story. And at this point, Benji turns around. He's expecting, right? Benji's expecting to see some kind of nonsense, but when he turns around and sees this, he's just like, hell nah. He's like, what? He kind of like says, yeah. I think like exactly what he says. He's like, yo, but he like says it much louder than he thought. So Benji kind of just had a guttural reaction to this, which, dude, I don't blame the kid. Like, he sees these two guys, like the two fursuits, making out and fondling each other and like whispering sexy things into each other's ears. Bro, I might let out a yelp as well. So, like, I don't know. Benji's like, bro. I think he's like, yo, or bro. But he says it much louder than he thought, which brought the attention of the teacher. So the teacher, who is kind of focusing on the front of the room and also the whiteboard, turns around and looks to the back of the room, where he just sees these two furry kids going at it in the back, and the teacher is like, "Hey, you two," and he points to the two furry kids in the back like, "What are you doing in my class right now? That is so disrespectful. Get up to the front." And the two of them walk up in their fursuits, right? And he's like yelling at both of them like, "Don't do any of that. If I see you two doing anything like that again, you're going to the front office. Now go back there." So yeah, the teacher low-key kind of publicly humiliated them instead of just telling them to knock it off. I think the teacher was having a tough day anyways. But Benji felt a little bad, because he didn't think Ben was a bad dude. He didn't really have any interactions with him. But, you know, Ben the furry and his furry girlfriend walked all the way back, and Ben sat down next to him. And after about 30 seconds, Benji went back to paying attention, but that's when he felt a tap on his shoulder. So he turns his head to see that Ben the furry is looking at him in his furry suit. It's kind of like, it's low-key kind of like distracting, or it's kind of like unnerving, I should say, because you just have this like dude in a furry suit just looking at you, right? He's just staring you down. He's staring into the depths of your soul. And Benji kind of looks at him. He's like, and Ben's like, you're gonna pay for what you did, buddy. and Benji's like, what? And Ben's like, yeah, you ratted us out. You know what happens to snitches, buddy. And remember, he's hearing this through, like, the muffle fursuit head, right? So it's very weird. Benji's like, dude, it was an accident. I was just really startled to see what I saw. And, you know, Ben's like, that's too bad, because snitches get stitches. And, like, Benji really didn't even know, like, where he was going with this. So Benji's like, sorry, man. Like, I swear it wasn't like that. And the furry dude's like, well, either way, man, you're going to pay for what you did. And he turns back around. And Benji's like, all right, a little note to self. Ben is not cool. This guy is freaking weird. The furry guy, yeah, turns out he was not as okay as I thought he was. Good to know. This is something that I will remember later. But the thing is, Benji doesn't really think that anything's going to happen. So he walks out of class. And he's kind of thinking, okay, well, if the furry guy is going to come after me, he's going to come after me right out of class. Right? But no, the Ben the furry actually walks the other way with his furry girlfriend, and Benji thinks that that's it, that they're done, and that there's going to be no altercation, no issues, no problems, no nothing, right? So Benji's actually kind of excited at this point, and that's when Benji goes to lunch. And Benji goes to lunch after another class. So the one where he has the Ben the furry in it, there's a class after that, and then after the second class, he goes to lunch. So a little bit of time has passed since the whole ordeal happens when Benji sits down at his lunch table, and the friend of Benji's lunch table is like, dude, did you hear? And Benji's like, dude, what? He's like, it's about you. And Benji's like, what? Like, I didn't do anything. Because, like, Benji genuinely had not had, there was no reason, Benji thought, that he would be, like, in the news of, like, people talking around, right? He's like, I'm not dating anyone. I'm not shooting my shot with anyone. I didn't get in a fight with anyone. I didn't get caught cheating or anything like that. Like, why would people be talking about me like that? It makes no sense. And his friend's like, dude, like, you know that, like, Ben, the furry guy? And Benji's just like, oh my God, what? He's been telling people that he's going to dominate you and show that, like, you can't be disrespecting him by, like, sitting on you. And Benji's like, bro, what? Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Ben down below. Secret word of the day will be Ben. I'll try to heart a bunch of comments to say that. I don't know how busy I will be tomorrow when this video goes up. So don't feel bad if you don't get a heart, but I will try and heart as many as I possibly can. Also, the best way to support the channel is just to sit down and binge watch a bunch of old videos. I think I have a playlist linked in the top comment. So after you're done watching this video, you can just click the link and you can go to that playlist. It has all of my videos. Hey, if you do watch that playlist or you binge watch my old videos or whatever, please let me know in the comments so that I can say thank you, because I try and get to as many comments as I can. I just want to say thank you for you guys supporting the channel recently. You guys binge watching the videos helps out even more than you can imagine. Anyways, let's get back to the story. So a little recap, right? Benji's sitting at the table when he learns the news that Ben, the furry, wants to show that he can't be disrespected. And the way that Ben the furry is going to show that Benji won't get away with disrespecting him is by crushing him into dominance. What the hell, dude? What the hell? Yeah, so he's gonna like crush him by sitting on him, because I don't know, dude. I don't know. Don't go in the comments. Do not go in the comments and ask me why, because you know what? You're not getting an answer from me, dude, because I don't know either. I'm just the storyteller. Don't shoot the messenger, baby, okay? Please? All right. Anyways, so Benji's pretty confused at this point. I mean, understandably, I'd be pretty confused as well. And he's just like, hey, yo, bro, what? And he turns to his friend. His friend's like, dude, like, I don't have any, like, I don't know anything that you don't know. I can't explain it. And Benji's just so weirded out. So the next day, he's like, okay, I gotta be early for class. He has 10 minutes in between his classes, right? But he just feels, he feels it in his stomach. He's like, no, dude. Benji's got to go to the bathroom. He's got to go, and unfortunately, he doesn't have to go number 1. That's pretty quick and simple. He has to go number 2, and he has no idea how long it's going to take him. So he does his business, and there's like 30 seconds to get to class before class starts. And class is all the way at the other side of the school. So Benji already knows that he's going to be like 1 minute late. So Benji books it there, and sure enough, the only seat that's available is in the back near the furry guy, near Ben. However, there are a few seats in the back, so Benji does not sit directly next to him. But when Benji sits down, Ben the furry gets up and then moves right to the seat next to him. And Benji's like, dude, no, come on. Oh my, bro, you gotta be, bro, please. Yeah, so anyways, right, Benji or Ben the furry whispers to him like, you shouldn't have disrespected me yesterday. When the time is right, you're gonna pay for it. And Benji's like, dude, I heard people were saying you wanted to sit on me to show dominance. And Ben the furry gives out one of those like, ha ha ha. He gives out like one of those like very fake, but like one of those anime villain laughs or whatever. It was like very cringe, right? It's very awkward and forced and staged. He's like, ha ha ha, you know what I'm gonna do to you now. And Benji's just like, bro, could you please not do that? Totally fair reaction. I think if I heard that someone or a furry man was going to come and try and assert his dominance on me by sitting on my face, I would say, dude, please, like, I'll give you $5 if you don't. Like, bro, seriously. I would really love it if you didn't do that. Like, I think it would be super epic and awesome if you did not sit on me. Dude, please. Yeah, so anyways, Benji said that, and Ben was like, basically, no. And Ben informs him, when you think, like, when you least expect it, it shall come, which basically meant his furry butt on his face. This is the most stupidest story I've ever received, but I'm sorry, I have to tell it. I have to keep the people entertained, even if it drives me insane a little bit. So leave a like for my sanity. Anyways, yeah, so Benji's a little just like, oh my God. So he like very carefully makes sure that he's never in a position where, like, you know, he could be easily sat on, which, what does that even mean? I don't know. Weeks go by. I'm not even kidding you. Weeks go by every single day, no matter where no matter where Benji sits, somehow Ben the furry sits at least near him. Maybe not directly next to him, but at least near him. And I swear to God, 2 weeks later, when Benji has completely forgotten about this whole ordeal, or at least it's in the back of his mind, look, if someone comes up to you and threatens to sit on you to assert dominance, I don't think that's ever going to be something that you'll just like forget or something like that. I think that that'll be something that will stick with you for all the wrong reasons for the rest of your life. However, it wasn't something that was a top priority for Benji. It wasn't in the top of his head or like the front of his mind or whatever. So one fateful day, 2 weeks later, Benji drops him his pencil. So of course, as anyone would do, Benji reaches down to grab his pencil. And that's when he feels a whoosh of air. That whoosh of air came from the furry kid, Ben, jumping super quickly out of his chair, leaps on top of Benji, and that's when Benji feels this big thud on his back as he collapses to the floor. And that's when he can hear, like, everyone looking. Dude, he can hear everybody looking at him. He can't see everyone looking at him because he's on the floor. He can freaking hear it. And he hears the teacher say, Ben, what on earth? And yeah, so at this point, Benji, like, is able to kind of, like, brush him off or whatever, and Ben flops over, and Ben is screaming, yes, my dominance has been asserted. Get sat on, you pleb. That's a quote, by the way. Yes, my dominance was asserted. Get sat on, you pleb. That was a quote that I received. No, that was not. Look, I do a lot of ad-libbing in these stories because I got to fill in the details because I'm not given 10,000 pages of information. I have to fill in the details where it makes sense. And I ad-lib all the time, right? That was not an ad-lib. That was a quotation. Yeah, I'm just going to let that sink in. Anyways, yeah, the teacher's like freaking out or whatever. Benji's obviously not the happiest camper right now. And at this point, the only person who's super happy is Ben, the furry dude, because he's just like, yes, my dominance was asserted. I sat on him. And I think for some reason he thought that everyone else was going to, like, immediately bow down and be like, oh, you're our master now because you sat on Benji. What the fuck? Dude, what? Yeah, but anyways, instead of becoming king of the plebs in Ben's mind, that's what was going to happen, he instead became king of the kids being sent to the office for sitting on other kids and distracting the class. Yeah, so the teacher came over, basically said, like, Ben, like, you go to the front office right now. I'm going to call up and say what you did. Like, I'm going to try and explain it. Like, just go to the front office. You're in trouble. Get out of here. And then he reaches over to Benji and he's like, did you have any part of this? And Benji's like, not willingly, basically saying, like, because I guess the teacher was just seeing if this was some kind of practical joke that they were both pulling or something. And the teacher's like, all right, then. So this obviously, like, I didn't think that you wanted that or whatever just happened. I don't even know, man. But I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a joke or something. And Benji's like, no, like, that kid, like, was mad at me because, like, when, like, do you remember a couple weeks ago when you called, like, him and his girlfriend out for, like, making out in the back of the class? He thinks that I told you to do that or something. And the teacher's like, dude, what? And Ben's like, I don't know. Or Benji's like, I don't know, man. So he's been mad at me, telling everyone that he's going to sit on me to assert his dominance or something crazy. And, yeah, looks like I forgot, and I leaned down to get my pencil, and, I mean, I guess the rest history, man. The rest is history. And the teacher's like, all right, well, that kid's like, Ben's eventually going to have to come back to the classroom. I'll make sure that you guys are sitting in separate corners of the room so that this doesn't happen again. And also just like, if this is happening, just let me know. So, yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Basically, the teacher's like, I'm sorry, man, that this had to happen to you. Moral of the story is, I don't know, man. Like, don't sit on people.
Click on the
bro,
video on
what?
screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.
How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a great day because today we have a story of probably the craziest dream stand to ever exist. So sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's just jump right into it. I'm going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Sam. So anyways, this all happened when Sam was, when Sam was in 8th grade, which was 6 months ago. Also, real quick, you can like Dream, you can even be a Dream stan. I personally don't care, we're cool either way. As long as you don't act like this girl, you're totally cool. That's all I'm gonna say before I hop into it. So anyways, Sam was in 8th grade about 6 months ago. Well, this story happened around 6 months ago. So he was just, in his, lab class or his science class or whatever you want to call it. And normally the teacher let them choose lab partners. But for some reason, one day, the teacher came in and said, hey, I'm actually mixing it up. Like, I'm going to give you randomized lab partners. You guys have been choosing the same people every single day. And everyone's like, what? No, but it's my friend. And he's like, tough. You're going to get a random lab partner and you're going to like it. So anyways, right, Sam was randomized and he got a random person that he didn't really know. Sam normally gravitated towards his, one real good friend in the class. But, he's like, all right, well, this is someone new. So anyways, Sam was assigned to this person for, a lab partner. And, they went up there, or Sam went over there and said, hi, my name's Sam. And the other person looked up and said, hey, my name's Sarah. And Sam and Sarah, immediately got to work on the lab. And they actually hit it off pretty well. Like, things were pretty good. Like, life was pretty great. They, it's not necessarily they had a lot in common right away, but they just had really good chemistry, and it was pretty apparent. And by the end of it, Sam's like, hey, like, I actually had a lot of fun today. Like, we should, like, hang out more, and Sarah agreed. It was always kind of, like, throughout the story, it's not super clear to me if they ever had, like, a kind of a underlying romantic theme or if it was truly just a platonic relationship. Like, I have plenty of friendships with women, and it's just 100% platonic. Those people lie on the internet and say that those can never exist. They can. However, I'm not sure if in this case they, Sam kind of had a little thing for Sarah or not, but throughout the story, they do remain friends till the very end, and it's insane, but you don't want to miss that. Anyway, so Sam and Sarah, outside of this lab class, would start to hang out a little bit. Like, they still had, like, a free period or whatever type recess deal. At lunch, Sam would normally sit with his boys, but, he would sometimes be like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with some other friends, and they'd be like, what? And then they see him go sit with a girl, and they're like, ooh, you're sitting with a girl. Typical behavior, even from, like, my friends, and we're 19. It doesn't get better, guys, all I'm saying. But anyways, right, so Sam and Sarah, they started to talk more, and they became pretty close friends. And, it came to the point where Sarah actually invited Sam over to her house for a sleepover. And, I will say, like, a boy-girl sleepover, I have been to one of them. They're pretty cool. But anyways, Sam was like, oh my, like, really? And Sarah's like, yeah, I mean, we're buddies. Like, I've my other buddies over all the time. Doesn't really matter, And, Sarah's like, well, my mom's cool with it. Like, talk to your parents. So anyways, Sam went back home and, he hit up he didn't hit up his parents. His parents were there. Sam went back home and he kind of like went up to his mom's like, hey, Mom, I got a question for you. And his mom's like, yeah, what's up? He's like, so I'm friends with this girl and I really am just friends with her. And Sam's mom's like, yes. She already knew that, like, something was coming up. And he's like, well, so basically what happened is that, she's invited me over to her house for a sleepover, which is, I go to sleepovers all the time. And Sam's mom's like, Sam? And Sam's like, no, Mom, I swear, like, I really don't have any feelings for her. She doesn't have any feelings for me. It's just, like, normal. I know it's weird because it's, like, boys and girls, but, Mom, boys and girls can be friends, too. And Sam's mom's like, well, okay, but I trust you on this one. Because, Sam's in 8th grade. Hey, man. And, Sam's like, thank you, Mom. Like, that's great. So the next day, Sam gets into school, and he kind of, like, runs up to Sarah. He's like, Sarah, like, I know I can actually do this. Like, I can come over to your house. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, that's great. Like, I'm so excited. Do you want to do it this weekend? He's like, yeah, no, I don't have anything this weekend. So they plan it for the weekend. Sam's going to go over to Sarah's house. Life is good. Well, life wasn't really good, but Sam didn't see that coming. But the only warning sign he got was that, Sam was talking to one of his boys at the lunch table. He decided not to hang out with Sarah that day just because, he had to hang out with the boys. You got to split your time. And he was saying, like, oh, it's really cool. Like, Sarah and I are actually pretty good friends. I'm actually going over to her house. And one of the boys was like, wait, Sarah, like Sarah, and then says the last name. And Sam's like, yeah. He's like, oh, dude. And Sam's like, dude, what? He's like, I don't really know. Like, I can't tell you anything specific, but I've just heard things. And Sam's like, bro, what do you mean you've heard things? What are the things? And Sam's friend's like, I don't know. I've just heard that she's like really, like, this isn't meant to be offensive, but she's just like, she's just really, really weird and something happened, but I didn't actually know. And Sam's like, bro, you can't just say that. You can't just say that and then not actually have an answer. And Sam's friend's like, I know, I shouldn't have even brought it up. I don't know. Maybe you want to do some digging. Maybe you don't. I don't think it's just like she's weird, like people don't like her weird. I think something like, I don't know. There's something there. I don't know what it is. But, bro, just be careful. That's all I'm saying. And Sam was kind of like, all right, well, obviously my friend's just being a hater and is jealous because I don't really spend as much time with them anymore because I have more than one friend. You know what? He can't deal with the fact that I have more than one friend. So, you know what? That's tough for him. And, sure enough, Sam did not heed his friend's warning and kind of paid the price for it later on. And this is probably one of the craziest stories I've ever told in the channel or I've ever received. By the way, submit your own stories to me on Instagram, Connor Pugs, or Discord. Both my links are in the description of this video if you want to submit the stories. Anyways, so Sam packs his bag on that Friday and is super excited, and, he's ready for the next day. Saturday comes around, and he sends a text to Sarah being like, hey, I'm excited for tonight. She's like, yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff planned. And so anyways, Sam's mom is driving him over, and Sam's mom's like, all right, well, you have my number, and if at any point you want to leave, just let me know. Like, I will bring you back. Don't worry about it. And Sam's like, Mom, it's going to be fine. Stop worrying, Mom. God, Mom, why are you so... God damn it, Mom. No, okay. But he was like, oh, like, Mom, I'm fine. Like, don't worry about me like that. Yeah, well, his mom had an intuition, and that all of his friends apparently did too, but Sam just couldn't see. So anyways, Sam and his mom pull up to Sarah's house, and the first kind of red flag was that there was no cars in the driveway. And Sam's mom was like, wait, her parents aren't home? And Sam's like, and Sam's mom's like, all right, I'm coming with you, and if their parents aren't going to be here, well, then I don't think I can let you stay. Sam's like, oh, jeez. So they walk up, right, and, Sam's mom rings the doorbell, and Sarah greets them at the door. Sam's mom's like, hi, Sarah. I'm Sam's mom. I'm so excited to see you. I'm so glad that my son and you are good friends. Are your parents home? And Sarah's like, no, but they'll be back really soon. And Sam's mom's like, how soon do you think? Sarah's like, yeah, I don't know, like 30, 45 minutes. They just went out to get something. Sorry, I think they're just running a little late. They sent me a text. And, Sam's mom's like, okay, I don't think I'm going to, okay, that's fine. Sam, you have my number if you need anything. Sarah, Sam can give you my number if you need to contact me or anything. Bye, guys. And, Sam's mom walks away. Sam's mom should not have walked away, because things are about to get really crazy. And I keep hyping it up, but trust me, it is worth it. So anyways, Sam, walks in, and he's so excited, right? This is Sarah, this is his friend, this is the first mixed-gender sleepover, which he hasn't been to one before, and he's really happy about that. And, Sarah seems pretty excited too, but there's just this weird energy that Sam kind of is, acknowledging, but also ignoring, because he just thinks it's his nerves. He just thinks he's, being, a little freaked out about his first, oh, my God, sleepover with a girl, whatever, right? But no, it was something else, and he should have paid attention to it. And, Sarah's like, oh, do you need to charge your phone? And Sam's like, actually, I do. And his phone was on, 20% or something. So she's like, oh, I got a charger, and takes his phone and charges it in another room. This was mistake number 15, but whatever. This was his next mistake. He's now lost access to his phone. So what? Anyways, right, so Sam and Sarah, they walk over, and Sarah's like, welcome to my room. She opens it up, and it's your quintessential, very stereotypical, girl room. There's, all this, I don't know what a stereotypical girl room. It just doesn't smell like crap like all boys' rooms do. You know what? That's a compliment, girls. Don't get mad at me in the comment section. Boys, don't stop coping. Your rooms smell bad. I know, because I am one. Anyways, though, so they sit down, they start talking about stuff. They're actually having a really good time, because they're both, watching, I don't know, freaking Stranger Things. And this is before the new season came out, so they're kind of, theorizing about what's going to happen next. And, they're really having a good time and all that kind of stuff. And that's when Sarah's like, oh, I'm going to, go to the I have to, go downstairs and go to the bathroom. I'll be back in, 5 minutes. Do you mind just, chilling here? Sam's like, yeah, no, that's fine. So Sarah leaves her room. And Sam, he doesn't, look for her diary or anything, but he's looking around, he's bored. His phone's charging, so he goes around, and he sees a closet. And the closet is only, open, a jar. It's only half open, right? Or it's only open a little bit. So he goes over, and it seems to be, overflowing. And one thing Sam also noticed before he came into the room was there's, a lot of weird empty spots on the wall. You know when you have a poster on the wall, and it's it leaves a sun mark, the sun's been on it, that everything around it becomes lighter, and then when you remove the poster it becomes darker. And also when you have tape or whatever, it leaves a little it kind of peels away the paint where it was. There was a lot of weird things on the wall that just seemed like something was there that was recently removed. But Sam didn't think anything of it really at the time. But when Sam got to the closet, he opened up the closet a little bit, and he saw a massive pile of Dream SMP, all that type of stuff, a big pile of merchandise and stuff. And that doesn't really matter. You can have a thing, but the thing that really caught his eye was this big bulletin board type thing. And there was a very big, like, bulletin board shaped hole in her wall. It was not hole, but like a part that like felt like something was there before. And that started to weird him out. And he like looked at it, and on the top of the bulletin board, it said, "The quest to find Dream, aka Clay." And Sam was like, and down below it had all, you know, there's like in the horror movies or like the guy goes crazy trying to figure something out. He has all the strings attaching the stuff. It was pamphlets, it was flyers, it was everything, like trying to figure out Dream and who he actually is and what he actually looks like. And as he's reading it, it says, conclusion, like Dream, and then he finds like a little book, right? A little book next to it. All these flyers and posters trying to find who Dream really is. By the way, if you don't know, Dream is a very popular Minecraft YouTuber. And anyways, he picks it up and he starts reading through it. And a little bit through, he gets to a page where it says, Dream's name is not Clay. He made that up, right? And he's like, I figured this out through my deductive reasoning. I know, like, and then going ahead a little bit more, Dream's hair is blonde, like looking like this. He doesn't actually live in Florida. He lives where I live. I have come to this conclusion. Does some more like page flipping, and that's where Sam's heart starts to drop. And it says, suspect for Dream, Sam, and then his last name. Hair, check. Voice, check. Like, I believe that this is actually him. I'll have to do some more research. And Sam keeps on flipping the pages, and he starts to get really freaked out because it is insanely detailed pages, page after page after page of details about him and like Sarah's conspiracy theories that he is actually Dream. And that's when he gets to the last page that says like Operation Interrogation. And he reads it, and it spells out in plain English that Sarah is going to befriend him even closer, and then invite him over for a sleepover to interrogate him to prove that he is actually Dream. And when Sam has this book open, he hears a voice behind him saying, "So you found the book." And he turns around, and it's Sarah. Real quick, comment Dream if you made it this far into the video. I just want to see how many people made it this far. I like seeing the names and faces. And I will try and heart a bunch of comments that say the secret word of the day, which is Dream. And also, if you want to support the channel even more than you've already done by watching this far and giving me the good watch time, which boosts the channel, all you got to do is binge watch these videos in one sitting, meaning sit down and either do something or try to go to sleep or draw or play video games and watch a bunch of videos in a row. And let me know in the comment section down below what you're doing like while you're watching my videos or how many videos you binge watched. I'll try and heart the comments, reply to them saying thank you, and even shout out random people who tell me how they support the channel, like this person on screen. Thank you. So shout out to this person as well as everyone else who's been supporting the channel in the last couple of weeks and forever really. And let's get back to the story. So at this point, right, Sam is petrified. He's at the house alone. His phone is in another room. It's probably not even charging. She's probably just taking it, like any source of communication. It's just him, and Sarah. And Sarah thinks that he is the Minecraft YouTuber Dream because he's blonde, he sounds like him, and she's gone crazy, right? And at this point, she wants to interrogate him to prove that he is actually Dream. So Sam is like, haha, yeah, I was just looking around. No, like, book? What? I just see you really like the Dream SMP. That's cool. I don't really watch Minecraft that much. She said, I know you'd say that. I know you'd try and back out of the truth. And Sam's like, what do you mean? And she's like, you saw the book, didn't you? And Sam's like, what book? And Sarah's like, oh, it's just a little book I have of, like, my favorite Dream characters. And Sam's like, and Sarah's like, oh, follow me. Sarah comes over, grabs his hand, and leads him downstairs. Leads him past the room where his phone was supposedly charging. His phone was gone. It wasn't charging, by the way. Sam's like, oh, where's my phone? She's like, oh, it's charging in a different room. Sam's like, Sarah continues to lead him downstairs and then kind of to this basement area. And Sarah's like, look, come on. I want to show you something. Drags him basically down the stairs to the basement, brings him down there, and it's like, okay, so like there's a really cool game over there, and I want you to go over there and get it set up. And Sam's like, what? And he turns around, Sarah's gone, and he hears running up the stairs. So like he starts turning around and starts like speed walking towards her, and Sarah's already ran up the stairs, slams the basement door shut, locks it. And Sam's like, yo, like, open up. Like, what are you doing? And Sarah's like, I know it's you, Dream. And Sam's like, dude, what? What are you saying? And Sarah's like, I've been watching you for a while, and I know that it's actually you. You are Dream. I've been trying to figure out your true identity for the longest time. And I knew that, like, the red herring, Clay. Of course your name isn't Clay. That is a perfect idea, to tell everyone your name is Clay, and then it's actually Sam. Oh my God, I'm a genius. You should have changed your voice. You should have used a voice changer in your videos, because it's so obvious when I hear you speak that you are actually Dream. And Sam's like, dude, what are you talking about? And Sarah's like, try and keep this up and you'll stay down there forever. And Sam's like, so what are you gonna do when your parents get back? And Sarah's like, my parents are gone for the week. And Sam's like, well, my mom's coming tomorrow. And Sarah will say, I'm just going to tell her that you were walking home and you chose to walk home yourself. She's going to think then that you got abducted and something like that. And I'll have you for the entire week and you'll starve unless you admit it. And Sam's like, oh my God, this woman's insane. So he's looking around and there's no actual windows. There's only like a light. And Sam's like, okay, well, what are you going to do if I admit that I'm Dream? And Sarah's like, well, you got to admit it first. And Sam's like, okay, you got me. I'm actually Dream. And Sarah's like, yes, I knew it. Oh, Dream, I knew it. Now, I have the identity of the most popular YouTuber ever. What shall I do with it? And Sam's kind of like, yeah, so are you gonna let me out yet? And Sarah's like, no, I don't think so. And Sam's like, well, okay, well, you know the truth now. Like, what else do you want to know? And Sarah's like, well, I got to be certain, right? I need you to show me that you're logged into the Dream YouTube channel. At this point, Sam's like, what the fuck? Like, oh, this is the most insane thing I've ever... He says, okay, well, you got to bring me my phone then. And Sarah's like, well, I'm going to bring you your phone, and then you're going to give me your password. And Sam's like, no can do. I'm going to type in the password myself, or you're not going to see the Dream channel. Sarah's like, fine. Sam is so confused how that worked, but it did, so he's like, all right, screw it. We're going with this. And so Sarah, like, goes around. He hears her, like, because remember, Sam and Sarah are talking between a door at this point. And, he hears Sarah walk away, walk into a different room, get his phone, walk back. And Sarah's like, okay, I'm going to open the door, Dream. Sam still thinks it's hilarious. Now she's calling him Dream. And so she opens it, and Sam's like, all right, well, I'm going to get my phone. Grabs the phone. And he's like, oh, so this has not been charging. It's at 5%. And Sarah's like, yep. And Sam's like, all right, cool, nice. All right, let me type in my password. So Sam starts to type his password, but is slowly moving himself into a position where he can bolt out of there. Because he's kind of remembered. He's putting in his head, he's like, all right, I've got to remember where the exit is. He's like, all right, got the phone. And turns around, starts sprinting. And Sarah's like, get back here, Dream. So Sam starts sprinting from the room to the room to the room to the room, closes doors behind him, knocks stuff over behind him. And she's like, get back here. Sam finds his way to the kitchen, gets out there, and starts like sprinting down because they live on a street, right? She starts sprinting down the street. And that's when he like hears a bell. And that's when he turns around briefly and sees Sarah getting on her bicycle. And Sam's like, oh my God, I cannot ride a bicycle. But he's got the distance advantage. So he continues to run. And that's when he turns a corner and jumps into a bush, right? Jumps into a bush of another house, goes down there, and this is as still as possible. And he hears a bike approaching. And then a bike turn the corner, and then a bike stop. And Sam's like, she knows where I am. She must know where I am. Why did she stop right next to me? And Sam is in the bush as still as possible. And he hears the bike be just sitting there and then start to move again. And Sam watches as the bike goes down the street. And Sam is like, oh my God. Oh my God. So he sends a text to his mom saying, like, Mom, can you pick me up? And she immediately starts calling him, and he declines the call and says, hey, can you pick me up? And she says, answer my call. So Sam kind of peeks his head out, sees that Sarah is nowhere to be seen, and picks up the phone. And his mom's like, Sam, what's wrong? Like, why do you need to be picked up? And Sam's like, oh, there's just a little complication, and I just don't think this is a great idea for me to be here. And Sam's mom's like, okay, say less, I'm coming. So sure enough, and Sam's like, well, so can you actually pick me up, not at her house? And Sam's mom's like, what do you mean? Can you pick me up at the park that's, 5 minutes away from our house? And Sam's mom's like, why? And Sam's like, Mom, I'm just going to tell you when I get to the car. I can't explain now, but just pick me up there. And she said, okay, I'll be there in 20 minutes. So now Sam is like, puts down the phone. It's like, okay, I have an escape. Sam's phone is at 1% too. So he's so glad he made the call when he did. And he starts like moving in the backyards of people's houses. So he starts like going from house to house in the backyards. And then eventually he gets to the place where the park is. And he's about to like jump over the fence when he stops just to look. And thank God he stopped, because he sees in the very distance a bike approaching him. And sure enough, it is Sarah on the bike. She does not see him, but he sees her. So he ducks down and he waits as the bike passes by. Sarah's been doing loops around the entire block because she must be like, how did I lose Dream? And anyways, Sam, hops out, runs into the park and like hides behind a bush or whatever, hides in a tree, hides behind some kind of shrubbery, waiting for his mom. And he waits and he waits and he waits. And that's when he sees a car pull up. And he sees the car pull up and he looks in, and sure enough, it's his mom. So he gets up, he sprints out, and he opens up the driver's side car seat. He hops in, closes it, and says, Mom, go, go, go. And, his mom's like, Sam, what? Like, where's your stuff? He's like, I'll deal with that later. He's like, no, and Sam's mom's like, no, let's go pick it up. And Sam's like, Mom, let's drive around the neighborhood. Let me tell you what happened, and then we will make a choice from there. So Sam's mom's like, all right, fine. So Sam's mom starts driving around the neighborhood, and Sam's mom's like, fine, Sam, all right, tell me the story.
Click on the video
what
on
happened.
screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.
This is another one of those stories where I just feel like I have a moral obligation to remind you guys that there is cringe incoming. There is a large amount of cringe, and if you're susceptible to cringe, just be aware. And I want to make sure that everyone is strapped in and prepared and subscribed if they're new. And let's call today's subscriber who submitted this story, quite a story we got, let's call him Sam. So this happened when Sam, the subscriber, was in 8th grade, and this happened around 2017, 2018, and this is when the whole wave of SoundCloud rappers really just blew up, and it was super mainstream and super popular. And basically, there was always like at least one kid in your grade who like had a SoundCloud rapper phase where he thought that since he mumbled over a beat that he was going to become the next Lil Sam. I don't know, man. Sam never had that phase himself, but you know what I mean. Like, it'd just be little insert adjective and bam, he would have millions of dollars, all the women ever, definitely not a bunch of rented out cars or anything. But this all happened to Sam as well, because one day he was in class. And in this class, there was this kid who was kind of known as the spoiled kid because his parents made a lot of money. And remember, I don't care if your parents make $1 or 100,000 trillion dollars. Well, actually, if they do, hit them up. Tell them that they can always give me some money. It's all good. I'm an open invitation. But anyways, I don't really care as long as you act like a normal, decent human being. I think that's fair enough, right? But this kid, really, it just went to his head. And just the fact that his parents made money, the fact that he hit the genetic lottery kind of went to his head. Wow, probability will eventually favor you. Like, congrats, dude. Nice. But anyways, this kid was kind of a jerk from the start. But after this day in class, he was kind of known as the jerk, right? And because sure enough, one day, Sam is in a history class, right? And he comes in, and he is a class with the spoiled kid. And we're just going to call him the spoiled kid. The spoiled kid walks in with a little bit more pomp and swagger in his step today. He's just a little bit more arrogant than he normally is. And, Sam just wasn't totally sure why, but he didn't think anything of it. Maybe his dad got a raise, and they're getting their 3rd swimming pool and their 17th mega mansion. I don't really know what's going on, but sure enough, right now, Sam walks in. And Sam's just trying to mind his own business, and this kid comes up to him and is like, "Sup, Sam?" And Sam's like, "Sup, dude?" Remember, Sam and the spoiled kid don't really talk to each other. They're not really friends. Obviously, they know of each other's existence because Sam's in kind of a smaller school, but Sam just doesn't know who this kid is. He's not friends with him. And he just comes up to him, and like maybe Sam is thinking, oh, maybe he's trying to become friends or something. Doesn't really matter. But the next thing that the kid said is like, "Dude, I'm freaking blowing up on SoundCloud right now. Bro, you know Little Pump? He's going to be old news when it's coming to me. And Sam's like, well, what's your username? Like, what's your, I don't know, your SoundCloud rapper handle or whatever? And the spoiled kid, brace yourself. The spoiled kid said that his name was, the spoiled kid said that his super hardcore gangster rapper name was Baby Big Money Little Dog. Is this some like ABC balloon? Like, is this some kind of like, is this some Coco Melon type beat? Like, what? Are you serious? You expect to have any kind of quote unquote street? I mean, you're a SoundCloud rapper. Let's be real. But imagine being like, yeah, this is my boy, Baby Big. Dude, I can't even say it with a straight face anymore. Let's just call him. Let's just call him Spoiled Kid. I'm not even going to refer to him by his SoundCloud rapper name. And I think his handle was different or something because the subscriber felt confident telling me that without thinking it would leak any information. I think like he deleted his page and wiped himself off the internet because he was so embarrassed. But anyways, right? So Sam is trying to hold his composure because this random like spoiled kid just said, yeah, man, I'm blowing up on SoundCloud. My name is Baby Big Money Little Dog. Dude, I can't even say that. I can't even say that with a straight face. God. So anyways, Sam's like, well, what's going on? And he was like, dude, I just got 500. And Sam's like 500,000 in his head. And then the kid's like, streams. I just got 500 plays on my recent song. And Sam, loads up, is like, oh, okay, like loads up his SoundCloud profile. He's in class, so he's kind of risking it right now, but he loads up the SoundCloud profile. And it is the most garage band, terrible mic pop. Okay, I can't really complain about mic pops. I don't even use a mic. I just use my phone to record these videos. But anyways, I'm not trying to produce music, right? It is probably the worst song. It is like Little Pump if it was like Discount Little Pump. Consider that. And, that was probably the hardest try not to laugh challenge Sam has ever entertained himself with, because he was in class and he didn't want to get called out to the principal's office or just like, I don't know, got a bad participation mark that day or something. And, the spoiled kid is not noticing that Sam is trying not to just like burst into laughter, tears, I don't know, shivering. I don't even know what reaction you'd have to that kind of music at that point. And, the kid's like, dude, I think I'm just going to drop out of school. And Sam looks at him again. He's like, God, you're testing me today, man. You're testing me today, dude. And he's like, yeah, man, I think I'm going to go to Hollywood because it'd be great for networking. And it just like, I think it's time for me to drop out and pursue my passion. I mean, I'm literally blowing up right now. I mean, 500 people have streamed my song. And the spoiled kid refreshed the page. Is like, dude, it's literally 501. It's blowing up. And Sam pointed out, like, dude, I just listened to it. That's probably... He's like, doesn't matter, man. I'm still blowing up. I'm going to be so big and huge. Don't take that out of context. I'm going to be so massive. And I feel bad for you guys. Like, if you're, like, really true supporters of me, I will consider allowing you to have backstage passes. And Sam is just like, oh, my God. This kid is, like, unironically delusional. But anyways, right, it doesn't end there. It gets more cringe, and in fact, it gets even more, like, it becomes so bad that it will be difficult for me to physically read it. It is that unfortunate amount of cringe. So you guys do need to strap up. But real quick, comment spoiled down below, as that is the secret word of the day. If you want to support us and support the channel, help us get to 600,000, binge watch some videos, and then comment down below if you do. I'll slap a heart in your comment and say thank you. And then, sure enough, right, the kid goes on, the spoiled kid, because remember, Sam, the spoiled kid, are all in this history class, and they got a professor who is, he's happy with what he's doing, man. He feels, teaching is fulfilling. Yeah, he's not being paid a crazy amount, but he's happy, man. He's happy with what he's doing, and that's really all that matters. But the spoiled kid doesn't see that, and the spoiled kid, at the very, kind of not the very end of class, but the last 5 minutes of class, so yeah, the very end of class, but not when the bell's rung and they're leaving. The spoiled kid raises his hand, and the teacher didn't really ask a question, so he just thought the spoiled kid had a question. So he's like, yeah, spoiled kid, like, what's up? And the spoiled kid's like, I just think it's time for me to make an announcement. I have finalized my decision. And the teacher's like, does this have anything to do with U.S. history? He's like, no, it's far more important. And the teacher's like, I would really prefer it if you stuck to U.S. history. Cut off mid-sentence. He's like, peasants around. Okay, he didn't say but he's like, it's so sad to look down at all of you guys. It's so sad because I know that you guys are probably going to live lives like this guy. And he just points to the teacher, which like, bro, chill, dude. But anyways, he's like, oh, it's so sad. And everyone's kind of like, dude, what are you talking about? What kind of egomaniac trip are you on right now? And sure enough, right, the kid goes on to say, if you guys don't know, I'm blowing up on SoundCloud and I'm about to be rich, famous, and surrounded by babes. Oh, yeah. And everyone's just so shocked and confused right now. They just have legitimately no idea of what's going on. They just have they're just not able to like perceive the nonsense that is kind of like penetrating their skulls right now. It's just they just can't figure out what's going on. And understandably, I mean, I think I'd be a little confused as well. And he's like, I have an announcement. And he stands up now because he's been kind of preaching from his chair. Now he stands up. He's like, I will be going to Hollywood tomorrow. And you guys will watch as I blow up. And if you guys are nice to me, and in fact, you do exactly what I say, then maybe when I'm famous and I'm on stage, I will give you backstage passes, which I know for whatever profession you guys will go into, you wouldn't be able to afford normally. And at this point, right, Sam is sitting there just like, did this kid just like get a piano dropped on his head and no one noticed? Because this is not the words of a sane normal man, right? These are not the words of a normal person. God damn, like, what? What happened, man? And sure enough, right, the teacher is just, what's the teacher supposed to say here? Like, okay. So at this point, right, the spoiled kid has been going on a maniac ego trip for the last 5 minutes. And then the bell rings. He's like, guys, this might be the last time that you see me before I see you from a different angle. That angle being I'm on stage performing with all the babes and all the money, and you're in the crowd, the very, very back row seats, because you guys are probably not grateful enough for me to give you front row passes. You'll be in the very the very, very back. You will actually probably be so far out that you didn't even get tickets, and you're just trying to leech off of me. You're trying to freeload, and you're standing in a big pile of mud, rolling around like a bunch of little piggies. And at this point, right, Sam's like, oh my God, this kid has gone off his rocker. Oh my God. And the kid stands up. He's like, good day, everyone. And he walks away. And everyone, like, the bell is rung, so people normally, get up their stuff and they walk out and they thank the teacher. Everyone's sitting down. No one gets up. Even the teacher, like, who is standing, proceeds to go and sit down and just thinks. And then the teacher's like, well, class, because the teacher needs to break the silence. Like, the bell rung, guys. You're allowed to go. Like, that's fine. You're allowed to go. And he's like, we'll discuss. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with whatever just happened. I'll deal with that. Don't worry about it. So sure enough, right, as soon as everyone gets up, it is a buzz of chatter because everyone's talking like, oh my God, like this kid's blowing up. I haven't heard anything about that. And that's when Sam, because the spoiled kid had apparently only told Sam because I don't know, maybe he just chose someone randomly to like test out his act on or whatever. And Sam is like, starts hearing these conversations and he interjects. He's like the spoiled kid told me about it during class. And sure enough, right, Sam pulls up his SoundCloud profile and he shows that his recent and his only song, by the way, has 501 plays, which means ever since like Sam watched it, no one else watched it. He's not blowing up. And someone's like, wait, is this kid's name Baby Big Money Little what? And everyone is like, all right, let's start streaming it. So everyone starts listening. And probably at this point, Sam was getting or the spoiled kid was getting an even bigger ego boost because he just got 10 streams, bro. He's blowing up. And sure enough, the next day rolls around and you know who isn't there? The spoiled kid. He's not there. And Sam is like on his Instagram account and he follows the spoiled kid on Instagram because you just follow people that you know. And he sees that the spoiled kid has changed his profile to like a creator profile and it says artist. And his caption is literally like his profile says like blowing up, see you in Hollywood. And on his story, he sees like Sam sees the ring around the profile photo. So he clicks on it, and that means that there's like a story on Instagram, which you should follow my Instagram. It's in the description, and submit stories there. I'm making an email. I'm just being lazy. I'm sorry. Kind of busy. Anyways, though, he clicks on the story, and he sees that the spoiled kid is looking up flights to LA on his computer. So he's just skipped class, and he skipped school, and he's like looking at like flights to LA on Google, and he's putting that on his story. And at this point, like Sam was like, all right, he's either like lying, which, spoiler, he may or may not have been doing, or he's actually getting flights and he's gonna go. So Sam like starts like showing this to other kids, and other kids follow him too. And then one kid says to the teacher, I think the guy, because like teacher was taking attendance, he's like, oh, spoiled kid isn't here. And someone's like, I think he's going to LA. I think he's getting flights now. And the teacher's like, well, is he really like blowing up? Is he actually like, obviously he's being a big jerk yesterday, but is he actually blowing up? And someone just responds, no, he's not at all. The teacher's like, oh, well, that's going to be embarrassing tomorrow when his parents, get a call from the principal that he skipped school today and that he's forced to come in. Make sure to be not too cruel to him. And then the teacher kind of looks at them and is like, well, I mean, a little bit of cruelty might be deserved and might be good for him, but not too cruel, guys, and kind of gives a smile. And sure enough, the next day rolls around. And you know who shows up in class? The spoiled kid. And the thing is, right, the spoiled kid is like, as soon as anyone walks in, he turns at them, looks at them, and is like, the life of music, it was such a cool, fast life. It was just too much for me, man. Like, I'm not going for materialistic things. Women, music, money, crowds, fame. It's just not for me, man. I just kind of came to a revelation. Like, even though I was totally blowing up, I think I'm going to retire from the music game. And everyone looks at him. It's like, all right, buddy. And the thing is, right, this kid really did come for the teacher's life. Really said that, like, you're going to end up like him. And pointed right at the teacher, which is that's pretty disrespectful, man. So sure enough, the teacher, when he comes in, he's like, oh, spoiled kid. Looks like your music career didn't go so well, huh? And the spoiled kid's like, well, actually, the teacher's like, that's enough from you. Just cuts him off, doesn't allow him to defend himself. He's like, all right, class, we're going to start at chapter whatever.
Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.
So normally I tell you guys to strap in and prepare yourself, but no, legitimately strap in and prepare yourself, because this is probably the craziest story I've ever received, and it's about a goth girl. So yeah, subscribe if you like stories, and let's just simply jump right into it. Let's call today's subscriber who sent in this story. Let's call him Lucas. So a little context, Lucas went to high school, right? And he this year was graduating high school. And this whole story starts at a high school graduation party. But let me tell you a little bit about the goth girl, right? So Lucas was in class with this girl who kind of dressed pretty goth, and we're going to call her the goth girl, right? And goth is pretty similar to emo. I mean, you can just kind of look it up, right? And it's a cool enough style if you guys rock with that, as long as you don't do what this girl does. All love from me, right? I really don't care. Do what you want to do. But anyways, right, the goth girl was, in Lucas's class freshman year, but then she dropped out freshman year, and Lucas had not seen her since then. So anyways, right, this all starts at a kind of like a high school graduation party. So essentially, right, one of Lucas's friends who he's known for the longest time is throwing a party at his house. His parents are going to be away for the weekend, and it's a pretty big deal because, they all just graduated high school. A lot of them probably won't be seeing each other for a while at least because they're all going to college all over the place, and, it's like one of the last times they'll all be there together. So it's a pretty important party for Lucas to go to, and sure enough, he shows up, and Lucas's best friend who's throwing it greets him at the door and gives him a big hug. It's like, man, I'm so happy you're here. Like, this was a fantastic 4 years. Actually, it's been a fantastic, 12 years because they've known each other for that long. I'm just so excited to see you here tonight. And Lucas is like, same here. I'm really just excited to see all the boys again. One last time. Let's have it one last time and let's make it a banger, right? So it's a good high school graduation party.
And when Lucas goes in, I don't know, he's starting to talk to people, stuff like that. And that's when he sees, like, the goth girl, who he's not seen since freshman year because, you know, she dropped out of high school freshman year. And the goth girl is with this group of other goth kids, and it's pretty clear that, like, she's the alpha dog or whatever, man. I don't really know. But she's very clearly, like, the group leader in this situation or whatever. And so, you know, Lucas, who's just in a really good mood. Sorry if I sound so nasally, I just have all this gunk in me because of the wisdom teeth, and oh my god, bro, it's been a week, dude, but anyways, right, so Lucas is in a good mood, so he kind of feels like, alright, let me go talk to her, like, I never really talked to her before, but I want to make my peace with everyone, I want to have a proper goodbye to everyone, I want to make sure that I leave no stones unturned. So Lucas goes up to the goth girl, and, you know, Lucas kind of, like, rocks with her style, man, and, Lucas definitely thinks that she's a pretty one. I mean, that's just how it was. I mean, he doesn't really feel that way after the crazy event that, you know, is coming up in a second. But Lucas goes up to the goth girl, and it's like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I was in your class freshman year. And whether the goth girl actually remembered him or not, she's like, oh, yeah, what's up? I mean, you can kind of assume that she didn't actually know him, because instead of saying, oh, Lucas, how's it going? She was like, yo, what's good, bro? Nah, she didn't say bro, but you know what I mean. If you don't know someone's name, most of the time what you'll do is you'll be like, oh my god, friend, bro, brotherin, like you'll say something besides their name that doesn't totally indicate that you don't know their name. However, it kind of does indicate that you don't know their name at this point. But anyways, right? So the goth girl and Lucas start talking, and like the other goth people that were with the goth girl kind of like slink behind her and kind of talk amongst themselves. And I don't know, it really was the goth girl and Lucas, they were really hitting it off. And Lucas, by the end of the night, went up to the goth girl again and said, hey, like, are you going to be around this summer? And the goth girl says yes, that she's starting up her job in about a month and a half, though. She's working at this, like, mechanics place, which is pretty cool because, like, that's an example of a good-paying job that you don't really need a lot of education for, which, you know, we definitely need more of those. By the way, if you're not really rocking with college, trade schools are a great idea. Anyways, though, enough with old man ramblings from Connor Pugs, right? But anyways, she says, yeah, I'm starting my job in about a month and a half, but I'm really just going to be chilling until then, so yeah, we should hang out. And Lucas was like, all right, like, you love to see it. No, but he then goes and asks for her number, and she very gladly gives it to him. And Lucas and the goth girl, they leave on really good terms. And Lucas is like, all right, like, sure, this girl dresses a little bit, I don't know, emotional, or not emotional, I'm thinking about emo, right? A little bit, like, intense. The way she dresses is a little bit intense, to say the least, but I kind of rock with it, and she seems really cool, and she's pretty or whatever. You know, I'll have to have her around a little more, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens. Like, I'm going off to college in another state, so yeah, it can't be a long-term thing, but hey, man, who knows? So anyways, let's skip forward like a week from now. So one of Lucas's friends is going to college, like, in his hometown, basically. There's a college that's pretty close. So his parents got him an apartment, and then he'll get a part-time job to start paying off this apartment. So anyways, right, Lucas's friend invites him over and says, hey, I'm having some friends over at my apartment tonight, like, you should really come around, like, if you want to invite some people too, kind of open invitation, like, just come over, man. And Lucas, who really had nothing better to do, as it was the summer, it was kind of the downtime or whatever, he was like, yeah, man, of course I'll come over. So I know the story has been super kind of regular and normal up until this point, and let me just say that this is where it hits the fan, to say the least. Real quick, though, comment a goth down below if you want to harden your comment. That is the secret word of the day. And also, if you want to support the channel, and I say this every single video because it is really that important, go ahead and binge watch some videos. Go to my playlist or just watch a bunch of videos in the recommended. And please comment down below when you're doing so I can say thank you, because you're boosting the channel and helping me out even more than you can ever imagine. Back to the story. It's about to get crazy, so just kind of prepare yourself. So when Lucas arrives to his friend's apartment, he, greets him at the door, says, hey man, thank you so much for having me over, And he sees that some other people that he knows, there's a few people he doesn't know, but he's talking to them. They got like, I don't know, they bought some pizza, like party-sized pizza. They got like a movie going on. They even got like a Wii set up and people are rotating going through that. Some people are just in the kitchen talking to each other. It's like a very chill time. Like it's definitely a vibe in there. And Lucas is like, hey, like you said I could like invite people. There's this cool girl that I'm talking to. She's like, she dresses a little intense, but she's like really chill. Like, do you mind if I invite her over? And Lucas's friend is like, yeah, dude, like, sure, or whatever, right? And Lucas says, oh, yeah, sorry. Also, by the way, like, this could be kind of weird, but my parent, I do you mind if I sleep here for the night? By the way, I wasn't really given the explanation for why he needed to sleep there for the night, because this was sent over to me over my Instagram. You guys should all follow that, and you can submit stories there. I'm in the process of making an email. I'm sorry, I've been super busy. An email will come out eventually for you guys to submit stories. But anyways, like, Lucas's friend is like, dude, it is totally fine. You can stay over. I got, no one else is staying over, so you can stay on the couch. And like, if a lucky lady comes over or I meet a lucky lady, then, she'll stay in my room. You stay on the couch. We're chilling. So Lucas is in a great mood because he's got a place to stay for the night, which he needed. And also, like, the girl he's talking to is like, he's coming over. So, like, life's pretty good. Life's about to be really bad in a second. I know it's taken a long time to get to this point, but trust me, we needed the build-up because it's about to be a massive explosion of pain and cringe. So about, like, 45 minutes later, after Lucas sent, the text to the goth girl saying, yo, do you want to, like, come over? Here's my friend's address. Like, he said, like, people could come over. And she's like, yeah, of course, I'll be there, right? Lucas goes, like, up to the door because, he assumes that it's her. And sure enough, Lucas opens the door and is greeted by not only the goth girl, but also her little posse of goth friends or whatever. And Lucas was kind of like, aha, I kind of just invited you. He didn't say that, but was like, oh, hi there. Welcome, I guess. And, the goth girl's like, hey, like, how's it going, Lucas? Like, I hope you're having a good night or whatever. And, like, the other goth kids, like, kind of, like, walk in and they're all, like, looking, like, very strange and they're all giving people looks or whatever. Basically, the goth kids for the rest of the night are kind of just, like, intensely staring at other people at the party and not interacting with any of them. Lucas doesn't even think that they were talking amongst themselves. Like, they were just literally standing there staring at everyone, being very weird. And let me just say that Lucas really thought the goth girl was chill, but this was all about to change right now. Because a little bit later onto the party, the goth girl was just acting a little bit weird, and Lucas was like, yo, what's up? And everything good? She's like, yeah, of course. And sure enough, right, the goth girl and Lucas kind of go into the kitchen where other people are, and she's like, oh, do you want to see a trick? And Lucas is like, what? And the goth girl starts talking in a baby voice, and she's like, so do you want to see a trick? And then Lucas is like, bro, are you good? By the way, like, never talk in a baby voice around me. It's one of the most annoying things I have ever heard. But anyways, I'm going to pain myself and do the baby voice. And she's like, Lucas, do you want to see a trick? And Lucas is like, dude, like, you're being really weird right now. Like, what's up? And then in front of everyone, she gets on her knees and gives him a baby bottle full of milk. And he's like, what the freak, bro? What is going on right now? And she gets on her knees and, like, clasps her hands together almost in a begging motion. And she's like, Lucas, let mommy shuck the bottle. And Lucas is like, hey, what? Yeah, so everyone at the party kind of stops what they're doing, except the two guys playing XO, or like a Wii, not Xbox. Because, hey man, Lego Star Wars waits for no one, if you know what I mean. But anyways, everyone else at the party goes dead silent. Even the music stops for a second to listen in on what's going on. And Lucas is just like, oh my god, like, I underestimated this girl. I mean, I didn't underestimate her, I just didn't estimate anything, man. Like, huh? What? And then she once again says, Lucas, let mommy shuck the bottle. And Lucas is just like, why? Why are you acting like this? And she's like, because I'm just a little baby. And Lucas is just like, dude, please go. And then super abruptly, after Lucas kind of like painfully says, I think it's time for you to go, she gets up and she's like, fine. Which, like, I don't know what you're like. Are you really that shocked that after you pulled off like the weirdest, like, I don't even know. I don't know how to describe what I was just doing, but like, that's what I was told. I don't know how to describe that. But whatever, like, I don't know how you expect that after you do that, that's all I'm going to say, after you do that people aren't going to be a little bit, I don't know, weirded out. Anyways, right, Lucas is in kind of a weird position because he's going to be staying the night, and his guest, or guests, because the goth girl also brought over her friends or whatever, they just did whatever I did, like, whatever just happened, and okay, maybe Lucas is not responsible entirely, right? But, you know, it is the guest that he brought over, and he's kind of forced to stay for the rest of the duration of the party because he has nowhere else to stay for that night, and, you know, he's staying over. So after, you know, the goth kids leave, including the goth girl, Lucas is like, I am so sorry. I met that girl once at a party. She seemed kind of cool, but obviously she's not. I mean, like, it's not that hard to see why she's not, like, cool because of what just happened. But Lucas goes on to say, I'm so sorry. I had legitimately no idea that she was like that, whatever that's supposed to be. Everyone else at the party is weirded out, but it's like, you're good, bro. Like, we trust you that you didn't know that she's going to be crazy like that. And you might be thinking that, you know, the craziness is done, but it's not. Because anyways, eventually everyone at the party leaves, and it's just Lucas and Lucas's friend who owns the apartment. And Lucas is like, kind of like goes over to Lucas's friend. He's like, dude, once again, I'm so unbelievably sorry. I thought that girl was cool, but I only met her once at a party. I also didn't think she was going to bring her weird, creepy friends. Like, I just told her to come and not anyone else. Lucas's friend's like, man, like, stuff like this happens. Don't worry about it. Like, maybe stuff like that specifically doesn't happen per se, but stuff in general like that happens, minus the let mommy suck the bottle of milk. Okay, that part doesn't happen all the time, but the other stuff, totally understandable. And Lucas is like, all right, thanks, man, I'm so sorry. So Lucas goes to sleep on the couch, and he's awoken at 2 a.m, and he gets up and he hears a car kind of like pull up outside and kind of like not park, but kind of like, you know how the car's engine's still going and it kind of is like revving or whatever, but it's just like in still. And he hears 3 car doors open, which means that every door except the person in the driver's seat opens, and he hears them all close. He's like, all right, that's super sus. So he gets up from the couch and he goes over to the window. So he goes over to the window and he looks out, and yeah, it's the goth girl and her goth friends. And he's like, dude, those kids are not invited back. Like, I don't want to talk to them ever again. And then he realizes that they're all holding the same thing. And he's like, what are they holding? Because it's like not super conventional. And he kind of looks a little closer, and you can see them pretty clearly because of the street lights. And he's looking out and he's like, oh my God, like, they're holding egg cartons. And immediately he realizes, oh shoot, they're going to like egg the house or whatever. And so sure enough, you know, he, goes over and he wakes up his friend. He's like, dude, I'm once again so sorry, but you got to come out. You got to like get up and follow me. And his friend's all groggy, like, bro, what? And he gets up and Lucas brings him over to the window. He's like, look, I think the people I invited over were mad that I think the goth girl's just mad at me, and I think she's going to try and like egg this house. And Lucas's friend's like, bro, like, why? And Lucas is like, once again, I'm so sorry. This girl is obviously much more insane than I ever thought. But like, let's call the police. And, Lucas's friend's like, yeah, they're about to egg my property. Let's call the police. So anyways, right, sure enough, they, open up their egg cartons, and so they start grabbing the eggs. And so Lucas, just to make sure that they can't weasel out of it, grabs his phone, records them in high definition thanks to the streetlights, and Lucas clearly records them egging, his friend's house. He's like, all right, well, I got their faces pretty clearly, and I also got them clearly egging the house. And sure enough, right, eventually they hear a police siren, and the goth kids are like, oh my God, we gotta get out of here. And they kind of like hop into the car, but the police pulls up right next to them. It's like, I'm gonna ask you guys don't go anywhere, right? So sure enough, they all kind of step out, and, the police officer, like, one officer is, like, with them being like, don't go anywhere. The other police officer walks up the stairs, and, a couple moments later, Lucas and his friend hear a knock on their door. And so sure enough, the police officer comes up and says, hey, did you guys follow the call? Or do the call, not file a call. You know what I mean? And Lucas says, yeah, like, this is my friend over here. This is his apartment. The people outside, I invited over because I thought they were going to be cool, but then they were being very, very strange, so I had to kick them out. They didn't do anything like, breaking the law at the party, but I think they were just mad that they got kicked out. So it looks like they came back to get some revenge, but obviously, like, you can't be throwing eggs against someone's house, right? And the police officer's like, yeah, this is, a misdemeanor or whatever, or like some kind of minor offense. He's like, do you guys want to press charges? And Lucas turns around, looks outside, looks out at the window, right, and sees the goth girl just like kind of like hissing at him and clawing at him and kind of like snarling at him. And he's like, you know what? It's not up to me. It's up to my friend. And he looks at his friend and kind of like nods. His friend's like, yeah, actually, I would. I don't know these people. Full extent of the law, officer. Thank you very much. So the officer goes downstairs or walks out of their apartment and goes down the stairs to meet up with this other officer. And Lucas and his friend, they run over to the window. And yeah, sure enough, they see all of the goth kids getting handcuffed, put in the police car, and another police car comes because it's like too many people for one car. And they're driven away. And Lucas is like, dude, like, once again, I am so
Click on the video
sorry.
on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.
Today we get a story of this kid who thinks that he's a wizard and tries to put spells on the subscriber, bro. It's pretty funny, so sit back, relax, subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber who sent in the story, let's call him Jacob. So Jacob's in middle school. I don't know exactly what grade, but there's this kid in his class that was always kind of known as like the strange kid. And he was kind of known as the strange kid because he was known as the kid who ran in, like, last year, ran into the girls' bathroom and said, hi, ladies, how's it going? And then obviously got escorted out by the security guard, sent to the principal's office where they were like, bro, what are you even doing? Like, that's super weird, yada, yada. And from that day forward, he's kind of just known as the weird kid. So fast forward a year later, and this happened at PE. So Jacob still had PE class, aka physical education, for any of you guys who don't call it PE. And today, what they kind of did was they mixed it up every single day. They play a different sport or some different activity that was kind of like physical exercise or whatever, right? And today was dodgeball. And so basically, the class was split in two, and half the kids went on one side, one of the teams, and the other half of the kids went on the other team. And Jacob just happened to be on the weird kid's team. And we're no longer going to call him the weird kid. We're going to call him the wizard kid, as you will see quite soon why he's called the wizard kid. So anyways, right, they're playing dodgeball, and Jacob and the wizard kid are on the same team, and it's pretty close. Like, it was divided up randomly. However, it just happened to be like a super even, like, division. So anyways, right, Jacob's team, which is also the wizard kid's team, was starting to, like, fall behind a little bit. It was like, I don't know, 5-4, and there was a lot of pressure being put on the team. And if you don't know, in dodgeball, at least the rules that they played by, you were allowed to deflect dodgeballs with your own dodgeball and you wouldn't get in trouble. But if a stray dodgeball hit you in any part of your body before rolling on the ground, you were basically it, or you were tagged out. So anyways, this all went down when Jacob and, the wizard kid and the other two people on his team were kind of like prepping and preparing for the other team to start throwing dodgeballs at them. And one of the team members on the other side threw a dodgeball really hard at Jacob. But Jacob was pretty good at deflecting the dodgeballs with his ball, so he kind of like outstretches his hand and he deflects the dodgeball. And you would be probably thinking, oh, this is a good thing, right? But no, because the dodgeball, yes, the one coming at Jacob, deflects off of Jacob's dodgeball. So Jacob is not it. However, the dodgeball deflects off of Jacob's dodgeball and hits the wizard kid. And unfortunately, by the rules that they played by, that was considered a point for the other team. So the wizard kid basically got tapped out. And Jacob felt really bad because, one, that's harming his own chances for his own team. But also, he's like, dang, I just got my own teammate out. So he looks at the wizard kid. He's like, bro, that was an accident, my fault. The wizard kid doesn't really respond, but Jacob just assumes that he was busy walking to the, where all the other team members were. that were tagged out. But anyways, right, Jacob and the three remaining teammates actually end up winning. It's super close, and it's like Jacob has a 1v2 at the very end. But Jacob's probably one of the most skilled dodgeball players there. Will those skills transfer to other places in his life? Who knows, man. But at the end of the day, he was pretty good at that dodgeball. So, his whole team rejoices except the wizard kid, who is apparently still pretty mad. Jacob doesn't blame him, like the wizard kid wanted his glory too. The wizard kid was pretty good at dodgeball too, so maybe he would have been the one to do the miraculous 1v2. Who knows, man. But anyways, right, so PE is over and they're walking back to class. And Jacob is kind of walking by himself for a second, and the wizard kid runs up behind him and taps him on the shoulder, and Jacob turns around. And the wizard kid looks at him and says, "Bro, you just messed with a wizard. That was the worst decision of your life." Jacob at first is like, "Bro, what?" Because he knew that this kid was weird, but he didn't know that this kid was pretended to be a wizard and put spells on people, right? So he was like, "Bro, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. Why would I want to get my own teammate out?" And the wizard kid's like, "Because you wanted all the glory, right? You wanted all the glory for yourself, and you got it. And you will pay the price. You just didn't know that you were messing with an actual wizard." And once again, Jacob kind of just assumed that he misspoke the first time when he said, "Oh, I'm a wizard, bro." But then when the weird kid, aka the wizard kid, said it again, Jacob started to realize that no, this kid was not joking. He actually thought that he was a wizard. So Jacob's like, "Man, seriously, I didn't mean to do it. I wanted my team to win. I didn't care if I was to get out for my team to win, I would have done it. I seriously don't care." And Jacob wasn't even lying. Sure, the glory of being the one who came back from 1v2 to win for the team. Yeah, he's not gonna lie. It was pretty sweet. However, still wasn't worth, it still wasn't worth, it wouldn't be worth losing, right? The glory, he would much rather win than have the glory taken away. But anyways, right, the next day rolls around, and this is when Jacob starts to understand why the wizard kid calls himself the wizard kid. Because he's sitting in class, and Jacob was kind of sitting towards the back of the class, and he happened to have a seat next to him open. And sure enough, right, he had one class with the weird wizard kid, right? And the wizard kid normally sat at the very, very, very front of the classroom, right? But this time, he walked all the way back and sat right next to Jacob. So Jacob right away kind of realized that this was not a coincidence. And the wizard kid is like, "Hey, do you want to see something?" And Jacob's like, "Bro, what? School, class is starting." Because the teacher had already started to be like, "All right, class, turn a page, whatever." And Jacob's like, "Bro, we got to pay attention. Sure, maybe after class, but not now." And the wizard kid's like, "All right, too bad then." And Jacob's like, "Okay." So Jacob takes out his textbook and is starting to open to the page that he's supposed to be. And then sure enough, right, the wizard kid says, "Hey, Jacob, turn, look at me." And Jacob's like, "Dude, what?" And as he turns his face, the wizard kid blows a pile of glitter into his face. And Jacob starts coughing. He's like, "Bro, what did you do that for?" And then the wizard kid starts going, "Oobly doobly, oobly doobly," just some real nonsense, pretending it's wizard speak or whatever. And he's like, "Ha, you just got a curse put on you." And sure enough, right, the teacher looks over, and I think the teacher was just having a bad day, because the teacher's like, "You two, go to the principal's office. You're being a distraction." And I mean, Jacob is kind of looking at the teacher like, "I was just here. I was just sitting here." And the teacher's like, "Did you not hear me? Both of you go to the principal's office." Kind of just because I think the teacher was having a bad day and just assumed that they were both being distracting and disrespectful and not paying attention. And the wizard kid is like, "Look, the curse is already working." And Jacob turns to the wizard kid and is like, "Bro, if the curse is working, why are you sent to the principal's office as well?" And the wizard kid really didn't have a reply besides, "The curse is working, bro. I'm sorry that you're so mad and can't accept it." Real quick, comment wizard down below if you want to heart in your comment. I'm going to be out most of the day, so I don't know how many comments I'll be able to heart, so please don't take it personally if you don't get a heart. But I will be looking for comments that say wizard to go ahead and heart them. And also, if you want to support the channel in the best way you possibly can, binge watch some videos either via playlists or in the recommended. And if you're doing so, please comment that you're doing so like these people so that I can heart your comment, reply and say thank you, and let me know what you're doing when you're binge watching the videos. It's always cool to know. Anyways, back to the story. So anyways, Jacob and the wizard kid are walking down the halls to the principal's office, and Jacob is just like, "Bro, I'm not trying to, like, mess with any of this. Like, I'm just trying to learn in class. I'm trying to, like, get my hours in. Why are you doing all this to me? And the wizard kid is like, because you decided to disrespect me in dodgeball. And I told you you'd suffer the consequences. It looks like one of my spells is working. Maybe if you're nice enough to me, I will issue a counter spell. And Jacob does not believe it. And it's like, bro, you're obviously not a wizard. Like, a counter spell would do as much good as, like, an actual spell. And the wizard kid gets really butthurt at this. And it's like, I am a wizard. Can you not tell that, like, the curse I put on you sent us both to the principal's office? And Jacob goes on to say, as they're walking to the principal's office, bro, I don't believe it actually worked, because if the curse was actually effective, it would just be me going to the principal's office, not both of us. Sure enough, they eventually get to the principal's office, and the principal is kind of just like, all right, guys, I got a note from your teacher, or an email, I guess not a note, that you were, like, being distracting in class and distracting others and distracting yourself. Like, can you just tell me what was going on? And the wizard kid is like, ha, I put a spell on him. And the principal's like, okay. And then turns to Jacob, like, why are you here? And Jacob's like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I was just sitting here, and this kid decides to, like, quote unquote, put a spell on me, which basically just means blows, like, I don't know, not fairy dust, but, like, sparkles and stuff into my face and then say a bunch of nonsense. And then for some reason, I got in trouble too. And when, like, Jacob said for some reason, the wizard kid turns and says, not for some reason, because of the curse. And Jacob's like, you're not a wizard, bro. Like, there's no curse. And the principal's like, guys, I don't know what's going on. I think it's just like, both you guys just go to detention later today and we'll be done with this. And Jacob's like, what? And the wizard kid is like, heh. The curse continues to work. And Jacob once again says, I will reiterate this, but if it was actually a curse, why are you receiving the same punishment as me? And the wizard kid is like, you're just mad because you're realizing the curse is real. And Jacob's just so mad at this point. He's like, bro, this is so stupid. So sure enough, Jacob and, the wizard kid, they go back to class, and, Jacob he's just not paying attention because he's just so mad that he has to go in and, he has to go to detention later that day. He's not trying to do that. And sure enough, time eventually comes around, and it's time for them to go to detention. And Jacob and the wizard kid, they get up and, they walk over and they go into detention, and there's like a few other kids there or whatever. And sure enough, right, Jacob sits in the back, and the wizard kid sits right next to him, and Jacob's like, bro, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to sit next to you. Can you please just leave me alone? And the wizard kid's like, well, if you don't believe in my spells, I'm going to keep putting spells on you till you believe it. And Jacob's like, fine, put as many spells as you want on me. Like, trust me. Anything that's happened today is just bad luck on my part. And the fact that you're getting the punishment too kind of proves to me that these spells aren't real. So the wizard kid's like, fine, well, I'm going to, how we're getting. So basically, they had a pretty big test that they were getting back. They did it about a week ago, but they were receiving their grades back the next day. So the wizard kid's like, fine, well, I'm going to put a spell on you. And because of the spell, you're going to fail the major test we're getting back. And Jacob's like, well, I know I did pretty well on it because I knew the answers to basically every question, and the teacher's already graded them, so it's not like the grade will be changed, so sure, let's, put a spell on it, right? And Jacob's like, well, how about you also put a spell on your test to make you do well, so that I'll fail and you get an A. And if that actually happens, both of those things happening, right, I'll believe that you're a wizard, I'll bow down, I'll accept your glory as a ruler or whatever, right? The wizard kid's like, fine, like, fair enough. And the wizard kid, like, takes out a little stick and starts waving it around as, like, biddly boodly, goodly billy. It just says something like nonsense or whatever. And so at this point, Jacob was like, all right, well, this is going to prove to this kid that, like, his wizard powers are fake, because I know for certain that, I did well. However, Jacob is starting to feel like, wait, because remember, dude's in middle school, don't make fun of him, but he's like, wait, what if this kid actually does have wizard powers? What if this kid can actually put a spell on me, right? And he's like, no, that's ridiculous, Jacob, come on now. But Jacob's like, wait, did I just give myself an F? But then he realizes, wait, no, like, come on now, like, okay, obviously I did well on this test. And the kid's gonna realize tomorrow that he's a fraud. Sure enough, eventually, detention or I don't know, whatever they were in, it ends, and the next day rolls around and they go back to the class where they both had a major assessment being passed back. And this time, right, Jacob makes sure that the wizard kid sits right next to him. He's like, all right, well, we're gonna see if your spell actually works. And the wizard kid is like super, I don't know, he's like super full of himself. He's like, I don't know why you'd want to fail an assignment you work so hard on. Like, just because, like, you wanted to test if I was actually a wizard. Like, that's so ridiculous. You just played yourself, bro. Stuff like that. But sure enough, right, the teacher eventually goes around and starts handing back the tests. And the first test that was handed out was Jacob's. And, Jacob got an A on the assessment. So he takes the paper, flips it around, and shows it to the wizard kid. He's like, oh, looks like your spell didn't work. And he's like, well, so, and Jacob's like, all right, just admit it, checkmate, I got you. And he's like, well, the problem is actually that, I just didn't do the spell properly. And Jacob's like, all right, well, did you do the spell properly for your test? And the wizard kid's like, oh, yes, 100%, I'm getting an A on this. And to be fair, Jacob was definitely kind of like, he was kind of being a little risky here because the wizard kid maybe was also like really smart or cheated or something, but for some reason, maybe the wizard kid actually did get an A. But Jacob was kind of like assuming that the kid was going to be too busy doing spells to actually study. So sure enough, the teacher hands back the wizard kid's paper, and you could already tell that the kid did not do well because the teacher handed back every single test face up except for the wizard kid's test, handed that one face down. And yeah, sure enough, the wizard kid flips over the paper and Jacob is watching and there's a big F in a red circle. And the wizard kid, after seeing the F, quickly flips over his paper again and is like, look at that, I actually got an A. Looks like my spells are right. And Jacob's like, bro, I saw the F. Like, I know you failed this. You're probably too busy doing the spells to actually study. The wizard kid's like, no, bro, I got an A. And, like, I think Jacob did this quick enough that the wizard kid was just not able to react. Because sure enough, right, Jacob reaches over and quickly flips over the wizard kid's paper. And there's a big, massive F and a circle on it, being like, oh, so you got an A now? The wizard kid's like, that's just a typo. You can ask the teacher. And the wizard kid kind of just said that because, like, obviously Jacob's not allowed to say, hey, what did this random classmate get on this major assignment? Like, the teacher's going to be like, mind your own beeswax, bro. Like, obviously. So Jacob's like, all right, wizard kid, you proved to me that you are not a wizard. He's like, no, I'm going to keep putting spells on you till, like, you realize. And, so for the rest of the week, the wizard kid would come in and blow, like, bubbles on him or, like, I don't know, fairy dust or all this kind of stuff and like say a bunch of random stuff. But yeah, Jacob did not have any other negative side effects that happened that week. And the wizard kid eventually realized that, yeah, he was not a wizard and that he was not able to convince Jacob that he was a wizard. So eventually the dude stopped and Jacob was able to get back to his normal life and would not be sent to the principal's office because someone put a spell on him.
Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.
Today we got a story of this crazy Minecraft girl that ends up attacking the subscriber. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it, so subscribe if you like stories. And let's call today's subscriber, let's call him Hudson. So the subscriber who sent in this story, we're calling him Hudson, and Hudson got a new girlfriend. And Hudson and this new girlfriend had been dating for probably about a month at this time, and Hudson had never been over to his girlfriend's house. Hudson's girlfriend knew about him and was totally fine with it. And, I think the reason that they just never saw each other at each other's houses is they were just kind of busy for the last, month or so. But one weekend, right, Hudson's girlfriend is like, hey, do you want to come over? So this was, tomorrow. So this was, a Friday, right? So she's like, hey, do you want to come over Saturday? Do you want to just, hang out for the entire day? And, Hudson was like, yeah, sure, is this at your house? And the girlfriend's like, yeah, I talked to my parents, they're totally okay. In fact, they're going to be away, so the only person who's going to be in the house is going to be you and me and my little sister, but she'll probably just be playing Minecraft with her friends or whatever. She'll be in her room the whole time. So it's really going to be just you and me in the house alone. And Hudson was really excited because, this is his new girlfriend or whatever, and this is a pretty big deal. So anyways, right, sure enough, Hudson is, driven over by his mom to, his new girlfriend's house, and his mom's girlfriend's like, bye, honey, have a good time. Don't have too good of a time. Wink, wink. Hudson's like, mom, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear that. She's like, ha, 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 ha. Well, typical mom behavior. You love to see it. But anyways, right, so Hudson walks up to the door. His new girlfriend greets him at it and says, oh, like, this is the first time we're actually seeing each other at each other's houses. And, Hudson was like, yeah, I'm pretty hyped. So she's like, all right, come in. I have lunch prepared. And, Hudson was like, damn, you have lunch prepared? Like, all right, let's go. Yeah, she made some mac and cheese. You'll love to see it. So, Hudson sat down at the dinner table, got a bowl of mac and cheese, was just talking with his girlfriend. This seemed like it was going to be the greatest day ever, right? However, there was a bit of a complication that happened a little bit later on, as you can probably tell by the title. The sister, Hudson's girlfriend's sister, we're going to call the Minecraft girl from here on out. So if you hear me say Minecraft girl, what I'm saying is Hudson's girlfriend's sister. It's just a lot cleaner, and I'm not going to trip up over my words as I always do, so yeah. So as Hudson and his girlfriend are sitting at like the kitchen table just talking or whatever, they hear footsteps come down the stairs, and Hudson looks over, and it's this girl who's probably about, like, I don't know, like, Hudson and his girlfriend are both 16. This girl is probably 13 or 14 or something like that. She walks down the stairs in these, like, knee-high socks, this, like, sweatshirt or whatever, and this, like, creeper hat or whatever, and she walks down, and she just gives Hudson this look of, like, I don't know who you are, but you better stay away from my sister type look of, like, I don't like you, I won't ever like you, and you gotta, like, watch yourself type look. So Hudson's girlfriend's like, oh, Hudson, this is my sister, like, Minecraft girl, says her actual name or whatever, right? And Hudson's like, oh, Minecraft girl, it's nice to meet you, and the Minecraft girl kind of looks at him and is like, hi, and kind of just, like, gives him this kind of look of, like, I don't like you, bro. And, Hudson's girlfriend was like, okay, that's enough of an introduction for you two. And sure enough, right, the Minecraft world really just comes down to, like, get something to eat and goes straight back upstairs. And Hudson, after she is obviously, like, left and has gone back up to her room, Hudson turns to his girlfriend and is like, hey, like, does she normally, like, not like people, like, that come over? And, Hudson's girlfriend's like, I don't think she's, like, super... It takes a while. Like, she's great, but it takes a while for, like, new people to get used to her, and for the other vice versa as well. Don't worry, like, don't judge a first interaction with her as as who she really is. You just need to thaw to her. Like, she needs to get used to you. Which, she was about to get used to him very quickly, but in the worst way possible. Because let's flash forward, like, half an hour or so. So Hudson and his girlfriend are like, all right, well, we can go watch TV. So they go sit on the couch, and they're watching some Netflix program or whatever. And at some point, Hudson's girlfriend's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Like, don't go anywhere. And Hudson's like, all right, I got you. So Hudson kind of, like, goes on his phone because the Netflix program is paused or whatever, and he's just paying attention to his phone, so he doesn't hear the footsteps come up, like, very quietly behind him. And the only time, he only realizes that someone is behind him when he feels a whap on the back of his head. He's like, ow! And he turns around, and he sees the Minecraft girl, aka Hudson's girlfriend's little sister, with one of those foam Minecraft pickaxes. And he realizes pretty quickly that she just, like, hit him over the head with the Minecraft pickaxe. And then once again, bats him over the head, and is like, you better stay away from my sister. So then all of a sudden, both, the Minecraft girl and Hudson hear, a toilet flush, and then, kind of like, when you rinse your hand, like, water's running or whatever in the sink, right? So both of them hear that, and the Minecraft girl is like, you heard me, like, stay away from my sister. Gets up and runs away. Runs back upstairs to her bed wars or whatever, right? And so Hudson's kind of sitting there like, okay, I'm not sure how to react to that. And Hudson's girlfriend sits down. She's like, what? And Hudson's like, and she's like, your face, like, what's wrong? Because, like, Hudson's girlfriend could kind of read him like a book at this point. They were good for each other, bro. But Hudson was like, yeah, so it's not a big deal, but, like, I was sitting here, and I felt like something hit me in the back of my head. It didn't hurt that much, obviously, but I turned around, and it was your little sister, and then she hit me in the head again with that little foam pickaxe, like, from Minecraft. It's not a big deal. It obviously didn't hurt. But then she said, stay away from my sister. So, Hudson's girlfriend is like, that's it. Like, you stay right here again. And Hudson sits there as he hears, his girlfriend walk up and starts, like, talking very loudly to, like, presumably the Minecraft girl. And he can't really make out what's being said, but you can assume that, like, don't treat like my boyfriend like that. I get that he's new here and that you don't know him. And even if you're trying to be protective, stop it. It's just weirding him out. Like, thank you for wanting the best for me, but not like this, yada, yada. There you go, stuff like that. So the girlfriend comes back down. It's like, sorry, like that should be dealt with. Like if you see her again, she's going to be chill. So Hudson's like, all right, cool. A little spoiler alert for you guys. She is the opposite of chill from this point on. Real quick, comment Minecraft down below if you want to heart in your comment. That will be the secret word of the day, and I'll try and heart as many of those comments as I possibly can. And also, if you do want to support the channel, binge watch some videos, either watch some playlists or click on videos in the recommended. And please, if you're doing this, leave me a comment down below like these people so that I can say thank you by hearting it or maybe replying by saying thank you, because that supports the channel so much. Anyways, back to the story. So anyways, right, Hudson's girlfriend's parents are going to be out for probably the entire night, or at least that's what Hudson's girlfriend said. So she decides that she's going to make dinner, and Hudson's like, oh, cool, awesome. And so Hudson's girlfriend makes the dinner, and, eventually he's like calls down her sister and calls in the boyfriend, like, all right, guys, dinner's ready. So, Hudson, walks over to the dining room and, sits down, and, the girlfriend sits down, and also the little sister, aka the Minecraft girl, sits down, and she's like being super awkward, making no eye contact at all with, Hudson, kind of understandably, right? And all of a sudden, right, Hudson's girlfriend's like, hey, I want to go show you something. And she looks at the Minecraft girl and is like, all right, we'll be right back. And I don't know, I wasn't told exactly. By the way, this story was submitted over on Instagram. Go follow me on there. It's in the description, and submit your stories there. But anyways, right, I wasn't told exactly what the girlfriend told Hudson. But anyways, they come back, and Hudson realizes that, the little sister, aka the Minecraft girl's face, goes from a face of like, I don't know, like, I'm feeling very weird, like, this is awkward, to a face of, like, evil. Like, she has an evil grin on her face. So right away, Hudson is like, all right, bro, this is a little weird, this is a little strange, I don't know how I feel about this. And he sits down, and he's just, like, goes to take a big chug of water. And he takes a big chug of water, and immediately, like, spits it out. And the girlfriend's like, are you okay? And he's like, wow, this water is so salty. So the girlfriend grabs his water glass, sticks her finger in it, kind of like licks her finger, and looks immediately at her little sister. And is like, did you do this? And the little sister is like, yeah, stay away from my big sister, and while looking at Hudson. And sure enough, right, the Hudson's girlfriend starts yelling at the little sister, like, I already told you to stop being, like, weird. I already told you that, like, we're, like, great for each other, and just, like, you don't have to like him, but don't be weird about it. Like, it was strange already enough that you bopped him over the head with, like, a foam pickaxe, right? But now you're trying to make his food taste bad. Like, either way, like, if we're breaking up, it's not because of you. And, like, if anything, like, we have a stronger bond now, even if that wasn't true. She just said it, right? And she's like, you know what? Go up to your room. And the Minecraft girl's like, you know what? Like, you don't have any authority over me. And the old Hudson's girlfriend is like, I don't necessarily, but I'm going to, like, do you really still want to be here when we're both very mad at you? And the girl's like, fine, whatever, I'm going to go play Bed Wars anyways. So the girl goes upstairs, and Hudson turns to, like, his girlfriend, is like, hey, I feel kind of bad, like, I want to be on at least okay terms with your sister. Obviously, like, just you going over there wasn't enough. Maybe I should go up and, like, talk to her. And Hudson's girlfriend looks at him very longingly, like, you're so nice, you're so sweet, like, that's so kind of you, like, she really doesn't deserve it after what you've done, or not after what you've done, after what she's done, but just know that she's a little strange sometimes, and she really doesn't like new people. And I guess I've never had a boyfriend before, or at least I've never had one come over, so I don't know how she's going to react. And Hudson's like, you know what, I got it, don't even worry about it, I just want to be on good terms. This was a big mistake for Hudson, let me just say. Well, anyways, right, Hudson, finishes up his meal, looks at his girlfriend and says, hey, I'll be back in like 10 minutes, I just want to go talk. And she's like, all right, fine, but please don't get mad at me if things go wrong. And Hudson's like, of course not, like, I don't blame you at all for any of this. And she's like, all right, good. Thank you so much. You're such a kind soul. You got a big heart, like, for doing this. And Hudson's like, all right, man. So, Hudson walks upstairs, and he knocks on the door a little bit. He's like, hey, can we just talk for a second? Like, I'm not mad or anything. I just want to, like, get to know you a little bit. I want to let you know that I'm not, like, some evil stranger or whatever, and that I'm not some, like, I don't know, some Brad type that's just gonna, like, play your sister or whatever. By the way, I know some cool Brads. It's just a stereotype, bro. And yeah, if you're a Brad watching this, you're the good Brad, right? You're not the bad Brad that I'm referring to. But anyways, right? So he knocks on the door and he's like, "Can you let me in? Like, we don't have to talk for long. It can just be for a minute or whatever." And he hears some like scuffling around, right? And he's like, "Okay, well, there's definitely someone in there." And he's like, if you don't want me to come in, just let me know, right? And he said, "All right, well, I hear that you're in there, so just say, don't come in if you want me to not come in." And no response, right? So he's like, "All right, well, I'm coming in because I really do want to talk," right? So anyways, Hudson starts opening the door, slowly opens it up, and what is in front of the room is bunch of like all these like clothes all over the place. There's like a whole big gaming setup with the light up mouse, the light up keyboard. It seemed to be in the middle of like just like sitting in the Hypixel lobby. Like it seemed like she was on like a game or whatever and just like quit to the hub and was just sitting there. Dude, okay, don't take that out of context. In Hypixel, like the Minecraft thing that I'm playing right now, there's something called the hub, which is just like the place where all the games are. It's not what you dirty people think. Oh my god. Anyways, right. So he just notices like, oh, well, she's not in here, but I heard her. And like mid-thought, right, because the door is open and he's scanned the entire room, he hears something from behind the door. So he turns around and he looks behind the door, and the Minecraft girl jumps out from behind the door and goes, "Rah!" Literally tackles this guy. And here's the thing. Hudson wasn't like a massive football player or something that was like a really big dude or whatever, but he also was like significantly older by a couple years than this girl. However, the fact that he wasn't expecting this and like kind of the element of surprise, like he got fumbled by this girl. He fell over. Like this girl knocked him over, dude. So he's like on the floor and like the girlfriend hears all this commotion. It's like, "Oh my god, like what's going on?" And the Minecraft girl has the pickaxe in her hand and starts going bop 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 bop. Starts bopping like Hudson in the face, being like, "Stay away from," and every single like word is another bop with the Minecraft pickaxe. So, "Stay away from my sister, you weird oh." And Hudson's like, "Stop, stop, stop. Like, I just wanted to talk to you to prove that I wasn't weird. Like, who's being the weirdo here? Like, me or the girl that literally lured me into her room to attack me with a Minecraft pickaxe? Like, who's being the weird one here, dude?" But anyways, right, Hudson's girlfriend walks up the stairs like, "Oh my god, what is going on here?" And, the Minecraft girl is like, "I'm, like, defending you from this weirdo freak. Like, he wanted to talk to me. Ha ha ha. Little did he know that I was, like, hiding, waiting for him to come. Like, I pounced on him. I'm attacking him right now." So Hudson's girlfriend kind of, like, grabs, like, the Minecraft girl and rips her off of Hudson. And Hudson gets up like, "Whoa, okay. Not exactly what I was expecting, right?" And the Hudson's girlfriend's like, "Minecraft girl," says her, like, actual name, right? "Minecraft girl, like, this is, like, I've told you again and again, like, just stay away from him. He's totally fine. He just wanted to come up and talk to you. I didn't even tell him to do this. He just wanted to make things right with you. He's got such a big heart, and all you do is, like, just attack him, and you're mean to him. Like, why on earth are you doing this?" And the Minecraft girl goes very silent, and you can see that her fists start to ball up. And Hudson's like, "Oh god, what's coming up next, dude? Like, what lucky surprise am I about to receive?" Like, and sure enough, the Minecraft girl is like, "If you can't see the truth, then you're lost to me too." Like some real cryptic stuff, bro. And in the middle of like Hudson's girlfriend saying, "What are you saying?" The Minecraft girl starts like flailing, attacking like Hudson's girlfriend with the pickaxe and pushes her and is like, "You don't understand that what I'm doing is for the best of you, so if you don't understand it, I'm gonna make you understand." It's just like attacking her with the Minecraft pickaxe, pushing her against the wall. And once again, Hudson's girlfriend was kind of petite, like she was definitely kind of small, but she was at least bigger than the Minecraft girl who was younger than her. So after being like thrown against the wall, because she was so thrown off guard by like, she did not expect her sister to just straight up like attack her out of the blue, she eventually like pushes back and is like, "What are you doing? You're insane." And the Minecraft girl like kind of like pushes both of them away from her, being like, "I'm doing this for the best of both of you. Like, stay away from my sister." And like turns to her sister, "You got to start having a brain on you." And Hudson looks at her and is just like, dude, oh my God. And, Hudson's girlfriend's like, fine. And looks at Hudson and says, we should probably go. And the Minecraft girl's like, yes, I won. You're breaking up with him. And Hudson's girlfriend turns to her and is like, no, you're being crazy. We're going to go have a good time without you in the house or without you here. And Hudson's girlfriend's like, sure, whatever. Go and break up with him. I know it's coming. So anyways, Hudson is walked down, like, Hudson's girlfriend holds Hudson's hand and is like walking him down the stairs. It's like, I am so sorry. Once again, like, sorry times a billion. I don't understand. Like, I knew she was kind of crazy. Like, I knew she was a little bit weird and a little psycho, but like, isn't every 14-year-old girl or little sister right? But this is absurd. And she says, you know what? This day doesn't have to be bad. So, anyways, Hudson's girlfriend's parents eventually come back. Hudson's girlfriend real quickly explains what happens, and they're like, oh my God, we're going to punish your sister for this. And Hudson's girlfriend's like, you guys can do whatever you want, but can I just ask for a favor? And they say, sure, what's up? And they say, can you just drive us to go get ice cream? So this story ends off pretty well because Hudson and his girlfriend just end up getting ice cream, nice, relaxing, and no crazy Minecraft girl to ruin the day. Today I got a story probably one of the craziest emo kids of all time, and I've told a lot of crazy stories, so strap in, subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber, let's call her Luna. So Luna was a tennis player and was pretty good at tennis, and over the summer, her mom sent Luna to a tennis camp, and this story starts pretty far through the tennis camp. So the tennis camp lasted about 1 week long, and on the last day, which was Friday, all the parents would come and they would watch kind of like a tennis tournament of all the kids who were playing and learning how to play and getting better during the week. There would be a big tournament. They would have like, I don't know, a fake little trophy thing, but the main important thing was that there was a big tournament at the end of the week and all the parents came to watch. So this story starts on that Thursday. So this is the day before the last day, which is the big event. And this tennis camp took place at a college, so they had access to a college dining hall. And Luna and her two friends were walking, to go try and find a table. And Luna's two friends said, oh, look over there. Or one of Luna's friends said, oh, look over there. There's a table. So Luna's two other friends, went over and sat down at the table. Luna said, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get something. So Luna walks over to the dining hall, grabs something to eat, and is walking back. And while Luna's walking back, she's not really paying attention. Like, she's kind of like, I don't know, spacing out or looking on her phone, or for some reason, she's not paying full attention to her surroundings. So unfortunately, she bumps into this guy. And, the guy had a tray of food, and the food, honestly, it wasn't even that bad. Like, the food, sure, like a little bit got on his shirt, but it wasn't like the entire tray exploded all over his shirt and his clothes were soiled and ruined beyond repair. Like, yeah, dude, you got sprayed a little bit. That sucks, but it's time to move on. And Luna was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's so embarrassing. And like, she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I wasn't paying attention. And this kid, Luna's looking at this kid, and this kid is very clearly like an emo kid. And by the way, there's nothing wrong if you dress like goth or emo or whatever. It's a style, and I think a lot of my viewers have the style, and I don't personally do it myself. That isn't my style, but I rock with you if you do that. No hard feelings. However, if you're like this emo kid, bro, you got to change some things in your life. That's all I'm saying. Because this emo kid looks at Luna, looks her dead in the eyes, and then takes out a book. And Luna's like, what? And the emo kid, so he has this book in his hand, and Luna notices that there's like ancient hieroglyphics. Dude, my brain is not working right now. There's like ancient like letters and all these like symbols on the book. Basically, it looks like a wizard or witch book or something. And Luna's thinking to herself, all right, there's no shot that like that's actually like a wizard book or something. And the emo kid reaches into his back pocket and takes out a wand. So he opens up the spell book and he's waving his wand around. He's like, you have made a great enemy. You've made a great mistake bumping into me on purpose. And Luna's like, it wasn't on purpose, man. Like, I swear to you, like, I wasn't paying attention and I apologize for that. I should have been paying attention. You're right. Like, that's on me. However, like, come on now. It was an accident. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what kind of nonsense doobly-doop you're doing right now. But he's like, silence, mortal. And he's like waving his wand around. He's like, hibbity-bibbity-bobbity-boo. I put something like super goofy, but like supposedly like I don't know, wizard tongue or something. He's like, beepity boop, boppity bee. I'm like, okay, bro, like, let's calm down now. And he's like, there, you've been cursed. And he slams the book shut with one hand, puts the wand back in his pocket, puts the book back into his backpack, which he was carrying around. Or I guess not a backpack. I guess it was like a tennis bag with a racket in it. And the emo kid walks off. And Luna is just standing there, just kind of like, what? What just happened? Like, can we just have like a little pause and a rewind of what just happened here? Because I don't think that like I really understood what was going on, because there's not a shot that actually just happened. So Luna goes back to the table with her two friends, and her two friends are like, what took you so long? And Luna's like, well, I actually have a very interesting answer that I bet you guys were not expecting. So Luna tells them the story, and they're like, one of them was just like, oh my God, that's crazy. The other one was like, dude, like, I know that kid. Like, I was in a tennis group earlier this morning. We're practicing forehands. I know that kid. He was so weird, bro. He was all like, shisha. Okay, he wasn't like the other emo kid, bro. I'm just playing around. But he was like all like in the corner, hushed away. And when the coach like said to him it was his turn, he kind of like looked up at him and flicked his long dark hair back, kind of sighed, and then like, you know, hit a forehand or something. And they're like, that kid was super weird, but I had no idea that he was like that weird. Because there's a difference between being kind of weird and putting spells on people randomly. Like, that's just two different ballparks, bro. Quick comment emo down below if you want to harden your comment. That is the secret word of the day, and I will do my best to heart as many comments as possible. I'm still getting over some complications with the wisdom teeth, and that might take a couple days. So please don't take it personally if I don't heart your comment. Do know I still really appreciate it. And also, shout out to all the people who've been binge watching my videos, like going through and watching a ton of them, either via the playlist or just through the recommended. Please let me know in the comment section when you're doing this so I can heart it and say thank you, and just know that you're supporting the channel more than you can even imagine at this point. I really appreciate it. Back to the story. It gets crazy. Anyways, right, so the next day rolls around, and remember that, you know, Luna was at a tennis camp, and on the last day, which was the next day, because this whole spell incident happened on a Thursday, and the last day was on a Friday. So it was Friday, it was the last day, and it was only like a half day because the parents would come and pick you up by the end of it. But anyways, right, there was a big tennis tournament, and all the parents came to watch. So it was a pretty big deal. And so everyone was sitting around on the tennis court, and like the coach was standing at the very front. Everyone was sitting on the tennis court, and he was reading off his list of like, all right, guys, like, thank you for all your hard work this week. And finally, it pays off. Just know that, you know, win or lose, like, you know, we just want to make sure you have a fun time, and that, you know, I mean, there can only be one winner, so you can't take it that personally if you don't win. The most important thing is to, like, good sportsmanship and have a fun time. And anyways, let me read off the pairings. So the pairings were read off, and Luna had a first round match where she played against some random guy or something, and she was better. She was probably one of the top 10 people at the camp. She didn't expect to win the tournament. I mean, the other people, were some people that were much better than her, and maybe they're having a bad day or whatever, but Luna just wanted to, you know, go out there, have some fun. So Luna's first round match went down really well. She won 6-2, 6-3, which is pretty solid win. If you guys know tennis, I used to play tennis a lot back in the day. That's why I can tell this story so well, at least the tennis parts. But anyways, things get really interesting when Luna goes into her second round match. The second round match is against a familiar character that you guys may or may not remember from earlier in the story. Yes, Luna is playing the emo kid, and let me just say that Luna did not forget the emo kid, but very well the converse is true too, because the emo kid had not forgotten about Luna either. Which means, yes, Luna versus the emo kid are about to play after the emo kid put a spell on her. And Luna's just looking at her opponent like, there's no way. There's no way, man. There's no way. So anyways, right, you know, Luna, so when you play tennis, you normally, like, you will warm up with your partner and then you'll get into playing. But basically, you both stand on two sides of a net, just very quickly for people who don't know. And so Luna was standing on one side of the net, and the emo kid was, like, sulking over and kind of, like, was all hunched over and kind of, like, wandered over to the other side of the net. And so Luna walks up to kind of, like, the net in between, and the emo kid walks up as well. And Luna's like, all right, like, do you want to warm up? And the emo kid is like, Insert maniacal laugh. I can't do a maniacal laugh right now. I just can't do it. So insert like the most evil maniacal laugh from like TV shows and movies you can think of. And dude, out of all the responses Luna was expecting, okay, Luna was either expecting like yes or no. It was a yes or no question. But out of all the responses that Luna was expecting, let me just say that a maniacal laugh was not on the list, dude. Like, it just was not on the list. And so Luna's kind of just thinking like, okay. And then the emo kid goes on to say, like finishes up his maniacal laugh and is like, why would I need to warm up when I have the curse on my side? And Luna was just like, oh, so we're still going with that. We're not just gonna like, because Luna was kind of thinking, all right, well, let's just put yesterday behind us because that was very weird. You know what? Luna gave this guy, the privilege of allowing, just to put that behind them. Because normally that's not a thing you just put behind, right? The fact that, like, you got a spell put on you, normally you don't just forget about that. But Luna was like, oh, okay, so no warm-up? And the emo kid said, yeah. Well, I mean, I have the curse on my side, so why would I need to warm up anyways? And Luna was like, all right, fine, I really gotta smack this kid. So Luna and the emo kid kind of go immediately into playing the match, and so Luna spins the racket, and sure enough, it is the emo kid's choice. So basically, in the beginning of tennis, you spin like heads or tails, and if you get it right, you can choose to serve or have the other person serve. And the emo kid starts maniacally laughing. So once again, insert the like maniacal evil villain laugh after the racket is spun. And, Luna's just kind of looking at him like, dude, what? And the emo kid is like, looks like my curse is already working. Insert again another maniacal laugh. And Luna's just thinking to herself, all right, bro, like, let's not jump to conclusions. There's a 50-50 chance that you were going to get that. Like, come on now. In the back of Luna's mind, she was like, well, I wonder if the curse is real, but her rational mind was able to take control and be like, all right, let's just smack this kid. I know I'm better than him. So sure enough, right, the emo kid starts serving. Basically, that's the way you start a tennis point. So the emo kid throws it up, bops it in, and the serve is not that good. Serve is the hardest part of tennis, in my opinion. But the serve is not that good. And Luna, really wanting to have a good impression to kind of quote-unquote break the curse, winds up a massive forehand, completely crunches it, and obliterates the emo kid in the first point. Like, this ball is blazing off of Luna's racket and just smack right past the emo kid. The emo kid wasn't even, like, the emo kid plus the curse were not good enough to give him the reaction time to be able to deal with it. That's how bad this whole thing was, dude. So Luna looks up at the emo kid, giving her the dirtiest look ever, because I don't think the emo kid realized that Luna was one of the top players at the tennis camp, but he now realized that, he was probably not going to win this. I think he walked in with a lot of confidence, also trying to scare her off because of, like, he remembered, oh, this is the girl I put the curse on. Odds are he would have, like, if this was a different person, he would have put a curse on them beforehand. Like, he would have walked up to the tennis net, whipped out his magic wand, and been like, blah, blah, you're now cursed or something, just to mess with their head. But since he's already done that, right, he was trying to use that as leverage. But anyways, the match continues, and the emo kid is getting destroyed. So at this point, the emo kid is down about 3-0, and they're only playing one set. Basically, in tennis, you play to 6 games. Whoever gets to 6 games first but win by 2 wins, and if you get to 6-6, you play a tiebreaker. But anyways, right, Luna's up 3-0, so absolutely smoking the emo kid. And it's Luna's serve, and she serves it in, and it is very clearly a winning shot. However, it was close, right? It wasn't like, it was clearly in, but it wasn't like in by so far that like you'd have to be like crazy to say that it was out, right? And the emo kid was like out. Because if you don't know, you make your own calls when you play tennis. There's no umpire unless you're really good. And this was a lower level. I think in the final match, like the final match of their big tournament, they might have like someone like officiating it. But the emo kid was like out. And Luna kind of looked at him like, no, dude, that wasn't. But, like, she can't really do anything. So they keep playing, right? And Luna continues to crush this kid, continues to crush this fool, bro. Like, and the emo kid continues to cheat. However, the emo kid is really only cheating when it's like, I don't know, kind of close. So if like Luna hits a really good shot, but it's kind of close, the emo kid will just call it out. And this is super frustrating to Luna because she's losing a lot more points than she needs to, but she's still winning. It's currently 5-1. So if Luna wins one more game, then it's over, right? She wins the match and like it's done with the emo kid. And at this point, right, I think other matches were kind of like getting on with, and like there were like more people were finishing, so parents were kind of like coming over and they were watching, and like more of the staff officials decided to watch this game just because less matches were being played because more people were winning and losing and kind of less matches were going on. So at this point, right, it was like 5-1 Luna, and there were a bunch of people watching at this point. And so Luna hits a shot that is very clearly a forehand winner. She hits it, smacks it. It's not even like the other ones that is kind of close. This one was so clearly in. It was in by like 2 or 3 feet. And the emo kid is like, that was out, by the way. And Luna's like, dude, like, I've been letting you have some really close calls recently, but that was so clearly in, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I give you the benefit of the doubt of all the other stuff, but that one was so clearly in, I can't let it stand. Luna basically slips and she's like, nah, I'm done, bro. And the emo kid starts getting mad and he's like, hey, like, you must respect my authority for point calling. And I guess technically you do, but then again, like, one of the camp people was watching the whole thing go down, and he started to pay more attention. So he's watching the emo kid, and the emo kid is getting so angry. So once again, they start another point. The emo kid takes that point, even though he's obviously losing, right? And Luna hits another shot, and the emo kid, it's not even that Luna's shot was good. The emo kid just shanks it into the net, like he completely misses it. And the emo kid was like, oh, by the way, your shot was so out. And it was so clearly in. And Luna's like, dude, you can't just call everything out when you lose. And at this point, the emo kid said, like, I'm going to do what I want because it's my authority and you have to deal with it. And at this point, right, the camp counselor had kind of noticed what was going on and was like, all right, I got to come in here. I got to put a stop to this. So the camp counselor, starts to walk on the court and is like, what's going on, guys? And the emo kid is so angry at this point because he's losing and he's just mad. And oh my God, this is where the emo kid snaps. So the camp counselor is walking over to the emo kid and is like, all right, can you explain what's going on here? Like, it looked like that point was very clearly in. Why did you call it out? And when the camp counselor says to the emo kid that it was clearly in and asked him, kind of questioned his call, the emo kid, already super salty and already molding super hard, being super angry already, just completely loses it, and he takes his racket and he goes, rah, and he whips around and he smashes it into the camp counselor. And like the camp counselor stumbles back and it's like, oh my God. Because like the racket had hit his arm. It had like broken the skin a little bit. So it was a little bloody and it wasn't that bad. He didn't break anything. He didn't like hit a major artery or something. But the racket smashed into the camp counselor and like kind of like broke into his skin. So the camp counselor starts yelling like, are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? I was literally asking about a call and you attacked me. And there was another camp counselor watching the whole thing and he starts walking in. But before they could do anything, you see this woman with kind of like a side part, like it kind of like the Karen haircut. Maybe she was a nice woman, but I'm just describing what I was told. By the way, the story was sent into my Instagram. Go ahead and follow me there. It's in the description. Even if you don't want to send in the story, just follow me there. It makes me feel good. But anyways, this woman walks on the court. She kind of looks like a Karen. Maybe she's super nice. I'm just saying it how it is, right? Walks on, grabs the emo kid by the back of by like the scruff of his shirt and drags him away. And he's like, ma'am. He's like, ma'am, I was winning. The emo kid literally had the audacity, as he was being dragged off court for attacking one of the camp counselors, to say that he was winning. What? Yeah, so the other camp counselor, I mean, the one that got hit with the rackets, like, I got to get this checked up. Like, I think I'm fine, but, like, I just want to make sure that, like, it didn't break anything farther because his skin was kind of bloodied up. And the other camp counselor, the one that was not attacked by the emo kid, walked up and said, hey, Luna, like, sorry you had to deal with that. We're giving you the win, obviously. And so sure enough, Luna went on. Luna didn't win the tournament, but, did pretty well. And the emo kid was nowhere to be seen after he's dragged off by his mom. Presumably, his mom was like, all right, like, we're done. Grabbed him and just dragged him off.
Click on the video
dude.
on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it. Today we got a story of probably the cringiest emo kid on planet Earth. This is probably one of the craziest stories I've received in a long time. So sit back, relax, subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber who sent in this story, let's call him Logan. So Logan was in the 7th grade when this all went down, and in Logan's class there was an emo guy and an emo girl. Yes, I'm in love with an emo girl type emo girl. And I'm just gonna call them emo girl and emo guy, because you guys know if I have like a billion names for people, I swap them. And even if I have one name, I've even messed that up once before. My brain is very small. But this all happened one day when the emo girl and the emo guy were at recess together, and basically like Logan had recess for a very long time. I know a lot of people don't have recess past like 5th grade, but Logan had it all the way through 9th grade, which is pretty cool. So basically, right, the emo guy and the emo girl every single day at recess would sit at this bench, which kind of was like close enough to everyone else, but also far enough that they weren't gonna like get, I don't know, hit by someone on the swing or have to like interact with people. And basically what they would do is they would sit on the bench together and they would be in each other's arms and they would be like, society, no, but they would be like randomly cussing out kids, and like literally some kid would walk by, let's call the kid Ben, little Ben over here, little Benny boy would walk by the emo girl and the emo guy, right? I'm just gonna call them the emo couple. And the emo couple would be like, oh, look at that Ben. He's such like a conformer to society. He's such a sheeple. He's the sheep and sheeple, bro. Like, he doesn't understand our suffering. He doesn't understand how society treats us, because society hates the emo kids. And Ben would walk by and like he'd be able to hear all this nonsense. He'd be like, bro, I can hear you. And they'd be like, oh, what is that, sheeple? And sometimes they would just like get really like aggro and cuss people out. They'd be like, hey, Ben. And he's like, yeah, you suck, bro. And Ben's like, all right, no one likes you guys. And they're like, society keeps hating on us. Bro, why do you think society hates you so much? If you're sending hate out, you're getting hate back at the end of the day. But this all happened one day when Logan made the mistake of getting too close to the emo guy and the emo girl. So the emo couple was sitting on their little bench, right? And they were just like, society, as always. And sure enough, Logan, he sees his friends at the tetherball. I don't know if you guys ever played tetherball back in middle school, but that was the most fun game ever. I would legit play it if I had it in my backyard right now. But his friends were over at the tetherball, and Logan was walking over. And Logan could either take the long route, having to go around the basketball court to the tetherball, or he could pass by on the short route. He'd have to pass by the emo bench, as I'm gonna call it, because that's where the emo guy and the emo girl would always sit every single recess and complain about society or whatever. And so sure enough, right, Logan just, he doesn't know like the real deal with the emo kid and the emo girl, and he doesn't want to take the long route. So he decides that he's going to pass by the emo bench. And he passes by the emo bench, and the emo kid is like, because he gets kind of close to them, because I don't know, he isn't paying attention, he's just walking. And the emo kid, or the emo guy I should specify, is like, hey man, wait a second. And Logan turns around and is like, oh, it's that weird emo looking guy, like whatever. By the way, if you dress emo, I really don't care. Like, you can do whatever you want, man. You're good in my book. Just don't act like these kids, and we're chilling, bro. But anyways, Logan's like, oh, it's these kids. Like, I know they're kind of weird or whatever. And the emo guy's like, dude, I saw that you were looking at my girl. And Logan's like, bro, what are you talking about? And the emo kid's like, bruh, it's obvious. You're in love with my girlfriend. And Logan's like, dude, what? Seriously, what are you even talking about? He's like, don't try and deny it, bro. You're only gonna get into more trouble from me. And like the emo kid looks over at his girlfriend, and the emo girl's like, oh, you're my big defender against this guy in society. Dude, I'm sorry, I can't do the story with a straight face. So Logan politely explains to the emo guy that he has no interest in his girlfriend. And he's not saying, oh, she's ugly, lol. He's just like, dude, I was literally just passing by. Why would you think that like I have any interest in her? Like, why would that give off the impression that I want to like get with your girl? Like, why on earth would that give off that impression? And so the emo guy is starting to realize that he was overreacting and that, you know, Logan was literally just passing by. But the emo guy starts to come up with a different theory in his head. And he's like, man, wait a minute. Are you calling my girlfriend ugly? And Logan's like, bro, no, like, she's totally fine looking. Like, so, and then he's like, so you're in love with my girlfriend? And Logan's like, no, bro, I'm not. I'm trying to go play tetherball with my friends. And the emo kid is like, so you disrespected my girl. Turns over to his girl, gets a little wink. You're hot, beautiful. She's like, oh, so shiny. And he turns back around. And he's like, that's it. I don't stand for this type of disrespect and slander against my emo girlfriend because I'm in love with an emo girl. You and we're going to fight tomorrow for her honor and respect. And Logan's like, what? And the emo kid's like, yeah, bro, we're gonna fight. You and me at recess at this time, it's you versus me. I don't want to see you chicken out because I'll find you either way. And Logan's like, all right, bro, whatever. I'm gonna go play some tetherball. Logan thought that was it. Logan thought the emo kid was just being like, I don't know, overreacting just to like impress his girlfriend. But unfortunately, he was wrong. Real quick, comment emo down below if you want to heart on your comment. I'll try and heart as many comments that say emo as possible, as that is the secret word of the day. And by the way, if you really do want to support the channel, binge watch a bunch of my videos. I got playlists, or just watch videos in the recommended from me. It really helps the channel. And please leave a comment telling me that you're doing it so I can personally thank you. Recently, I've also been getting a lot of comments of people saying that they put on my videos to go to sleep, which I don't know if that's an insult or a good thing, but either way, like, here's the thing, man. Watch time is watch time, and it supports the channel. So, look, I'm not saying to put on a playlist of my videos, turn the volume down to 1% while you're sleeping to boost the channel, but I'm also not saying to not do that. Wink. Anyways, back to the story. So anyways, right, the next day rolls around and Logan doesn't think anything of it. Yes, in the back of his mind, he's thinking about the crazy experience of when he passed the emo kid bench, but he doesn't really think anything of it, and he really doesn't think that the emo guy is going to, I don't know, oh my god, I got hiccups. But he doesn't think the emo kid is actually gonna do anything, man. Like, he's just like, okay, whatever. He's just trying to impress his emo girl. So, like, whatever, bro. Like, it really doesn't matter. And anyways, the next day rolls around, and it's recess. And sure enough, you know, Logan goes out once again to go to the tetherball, because that's where the boys were at. And he had a great day at tetherball the day before. That is a really fun game. I don't know why I keep bringing it up. I just really enjoyed it as a kid. But anyways, Logan goes over and he's just planning on walking to the tetherball, having a good time with his friends. But you know who's standing there blocking his way? Yeah, it's the emo guy. And the emo girl is sitting on the bench and she's looking at her emo boyfriend, right? But the emo boyfriend is standing there and he's like, yo, do you remember when you disrespected my emo girl? And Logan's like, what? And the boyfriend takes out, like, you know, there's like at the Halloween decoration stores, those big like foam fake skull swords. It's like the big gray swords that are made of foam and super bendy, but have like the skulls on them or whatever. So the emo kid must have bought one of those or had one of those already, because he whips one of those out and he's just like, it is time to battle, man. And Logan's just like, bruh, like, what? Man, I'm just trying to play some tetherball, bro. Like, I don't know about you, but... And he's like, no, you disrespected my emo girl. Like, so sure enough, right, the emo kid, or the emo guy, I should be specific, is like, and you will pay the price. And he runs in against Logan, and he takes the foam sword, he starts like going whap, 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 whap. Just starts like beating him with the foam sword. But bro, it's a foam sword. It literally bends on impact. So when he hits him, right, the sword just bends in half, right? It just kind of whaps around. However, he's kind of whapping it pretty hard. He's like pop, 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 pop. So it's like almost like slapping him. And sure enough, Logan's getting kind of little red marks. It's like if someone was like, you know, they're slapping you. I slapped my knee, by the way. Don't be weird. If someone's like slapping you, they might leave like some red marks. They're not going to do any actual damage, though, unless you're in a professional slapping contest and your head explodes or something. But yeah, sure enough, the teacher saw that and is like, hey, you there, stop that. And, you know, the emo kid's like, dude, this guy started it first. And the teacher's like, no, I saw the whole thing. You just came up to this kid and you were just slapping him. Go to the principal's office. You have detention for the rest of recess. And the emo kid looks at Logan and is like, this is not over, man. This is not over. A week goes by and nothing happens to Logan. Logan kind of purposely avoids the emo bench. And he does look over and he sees the emo boyfriend and the emo girlfriend all cuddled up, cursing out society, as always, right? And sure enough, right, he just thinks he's done. Logan thinks he's in the clear, that the emo kid has stopped his nonsense. But no, wrong. The emo kid has not stopped his nonsense. It's about to get much worse, believe it or not. So sure enough, a week goes by, and during that week, nothing happens. So Logan literally forgets entirely about the whole emo kid, whatever, disrespecting his emo girl type thing. He just doesn't even, like, think about it. Like, at the end of the day, he's just like, all right, whatever, man. I'm going to go play some tetherball, go hang out with my friends, play some, like, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't know, whatever they do at recess. But one day, a week later, you know, Logan walks into school, and Logan has a couple classes before recess. And Logan is just in the hallway, and this big, like, emo-looking kid who he has never seen before walks up to him. Is like, hey, I'm the emo kid's cousin, and I'm gonna beat you up. And Logan's like, oh my God. Because this kid was massive. The emo kid was kind of built like me, like a spooky, scary skeleton. But this emo kid, bro, he was like, I don't know. He was like a linebacker for, like, I don't know, the Patriots, dude. He was a big guy. He was big guy for sure. And Logan was pretty medium-sized, but he was about to get obliterated by this guy if he actually did do anything. So Logan's like, what? And the emo kid's cousin, who is also emo, he's like the emo, I'm just going to call him the emo cousin, right? The emo cousin, who is super big, comes up to him and is like, you, me, boxing. Logan's like, bro, am I supposed to be Logan Paul? Like, boxing? Huh? But sure enough, the emo kid's cousin is like, yeah, you, me, recess, boxing. This is for disrespecting my cousin's girlfriend. And he gives him a little shove. And Logan, like, feels the vibrations through his body as he kind of stumbles back a little bit. Kind of sizes it up and realizes, oh my God, this is not gonna end well. So Logan is kind of struggling to pay attention in class because he's kind of thinking about, you know, what's going to happen at recess. This big guy, the big emo cousin guy, said he wanted to box him, whatever that even meant, but he was a little scared. I mean, he didn't think he was going to do that well if he actually did end up boxing this guy. Just because this guy was big and he was kind of medium big, or he was kind of medium small, to be honest. So he was like, all right, man, I'm not going to do so hot. And Logan really knew that he was in trouble when he walked out, because he walks out of the building to go to recess, as he's trying to avoid the whole thing and maybe hang out with his friends instead. And normally people are kind of like, I don't know, dispersed around. Some are at the swing, some are playing basketball, some are at the tetherball, some are at the emo bench, whatever, right? But at this point, they were all huddled around. And when Logan walked out, they all turned to look at him. And Logan just knew at that point on that things were about to be pretty bad, if he's being honest. So Logan kind of just walks out there, and the crowd that's kind of circled around that was looking at him kind of steps to the side to show the emo girl, the emo guy, and the emo guy's big emo cousin all standing there. Apparently word got out that there was going to be a big boxing match or whatever, And here's the thing, right? Stuff like this never happens at Logan's school. So when people heard that this was potentially going to happen, everyone was like, all right, man, the basketball, the tetherball, the swinging, that can all be on hold because that can happen any day. But a boxing match between this kid and this big, like, emo guy who's, like, doesn't even go here, this is not something that happens every single day. So sure enough, right, they were tuning in. They wanted to see what happened. And the emo kid is like, or the emo guy's like, oh my God, Logan, are you ready to get for disrespecting my girlfriend, my emo girl? And Logan's like, bro, like, I didn't even say anything. And the cousin's like, yeah, you're just saying that because you're scared. Everyone's like, okay, not everyone was laughing. It was literally just the emo kids. But at the end of the day, right, everyone was still watching. And so the emo guy takes out his backpack, because normally you didn't bring your backpack to recess, but for some reason the emo guy brought his backpack to recess. So, that was a little confusing. And yeah, so sure enough, he opens up his backpack and he takes out 2 pairs of boxing gloves. And Logan's just like, oh, so we're actually doing this. Oh, okay. So this is actually something that's okay. So Logan starts to put on the boxing gloves and is kind of in his head, what am I doing? If I go along with this, I'm going to get destroyed. So Logan, midway through putting on the boxing gloves, is like, wait, I didn't agree to do this. He starts taking out the boxing gloves and the emo cousin is like, well, then I'm going to fight you either way. If we do this officially, it'll be a fair fight. If you try and run away like a little weasel rat boy, then I'm just going to come after you either way. So you got no choice. And at this point, Logan, is actually really concerned. The whole thing was kind of a joke, and it was becoming less and less of a joke up to this point. But at that moment, he realized kind of how serious the situation is. Just a little word of advice for me. Don't get into any fights at school. Just please, for the love of God, avoid all that stuff like the plague. If it's happening, just report it. Just get away from that stuff. But anyways, Logan's like, oh God, this is really bad. And he was starting to get pretty nervous. And that's when his guardian angel came, in a sense, because the school principal, 2 teachers, and 6 security guards, the entire security guard force at the school came in. People started dispersing. They started running away. The teachers pointed at all 3 of the emo kids. They also pointed at Logan, and the security guards kind of didn't apprehend them. They didn't tase them and tackle them to the ground or anything, but they're kind of you 4, you gotta come with me. And the emo kid's cousin's like, I don't even go here. And the security guard's like, yeah, you still gotta come with us. And he's like, no, I don't. And they're like, we'll legit call the police on you if you try and leave. Don't even try. He's like, okay, whatever, man. So sure enough, all 4 of them, they were sent to the principal's office. And the principal and all the security guards were sitting around, kind of sat them down, and kind of just wanted an explanation of what happened. So the emo kids explained from their perspective, and then Logan explained from his perspective. And obviously his perspective is the perspective I just told. And apparently the emo kids' perspective was the same thing, but a little bit more dramatic of Logan disrespecting the girlfriend or whatever. But honestly, the stories were practically the same, which is a little weird. Why would the emo kids say exactly what was happening when obviously they were in the wrong? Apparently they didn't realize how dumb they were being. But yeah, sure enough, the principal's like, wow, that's insane. So you might be thinking to yourself, how on earth did they get an entire security task force and all the teachers and the principals together when they were only out there for 5 minutes? Well, apparently, since word spread of this quote-unquote boxing match, that word spread, it spread to the principal, and they took it very seriously. So they had an entire team ready, and they were monitoring the situation very closely to see if anything was going to happen. And obviously, if some kid comes from out of school to try and attack another student, of course they're going to have an issue with that. So what happened was Logan, since he was totally like in the right, he was set free. He was totally fine. But and so was the emo girl, because she was kind of just a bystander, even if she did cheer it on. You could say the same for Logan for not standing up earlier. So those two were totally fine. But the emo guy, he was suspended for an entire week since he kind of orchestrated the whole thing. And the emo cousin couldn't be suspended or expelled because he didn't go to the school. But basically what happens is they ended up actually calling the legitimate police about this whole thing, explaining what happened, and the police ordered kind of like a semi-restraining order. I don't know if it was super official, but basically it said if this big emo cousin ever stepped foot on the school again, he would be like trespassing, and the police would have their rights to come and arrest him or whatever. So yeah. What even happened? That's what I'm asking myself.
Click on the video
right
on
now.
screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.
We get a story of these anime kids that go completely insane and try and like fight the subscriber with these really weird things. I don't want to spoil the story. I know you'll enjoy it. Subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber. Let's call him Clarence. And right off the bat, I just got to let you know that like if you like anime, literally nothing wrong with that. In fact, I enjoy a little bit of anime myself. I mean, you got yourself some Death Note, some Attack on Titan. No spoilers. I've not finished the last couple episodes. I will ban you from my comments forever. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, this all happened one day when Clarence was just chilling in class. And there was a group of 3 kids who always sat in the back of the room, and they always wore like anime t-shirts or sweatshirts or whatever, and they were kind of known as like the anime kids. They were known for this not just because they would always wear like anime t-shirts and sweatshirts or whatever, but they would literally only communicate to each other with anime references. And one of them sat like L from Death Note, just little, which I don't know, that's just funny to me, man. I've tried sitting like that. It hurts, bro. I was like, oh, dude, I guess is this gonna give me 50% more brain power like L? No, it just makes my feet hurt. But anyways, right, Clarence didn't really interact with them that much. They kind of stuck to themselves. However, on one fateful day, when Clarence was walking in the halls and he accidentally bumps into one of them, and then the other 2, all 3 of them, the one he bumped into and the other 2 that were walking with him, right, they all turn and look at Clarence. And they give him this look. And Clarence is like, oh, my fault, like I wasn't looking where I was going. They don't say anything. They just stare at him intensely. And he's like, like, my fault, guys. Like, I'm sorry. That's on me. Like, my bad. Like, why are you staring at me? This is making me uncomfortable. And the anime kids didn't say a word. They just kept walking. And Clarence legitimately thought nothing of it because dude just bumped into someone and then said, my fault, I wasn't looking where I was going. And yes, they were a little weird, not responding at all. It was a little creepy. It was a little uncomfortable. But Clarence legitimately, within 5 seconds, completely forgot about what just happened until the next day rolled around. So the next day, right, it's recess, and Clarence is just outside, and his friends, I don't know, they're doing something else right now, or Clarence does have friends, but for some reason, he's just alone at that very moment. And the 3 anime kids come up to Clarence, and remember, Clarence isn't like enemies with these people, or at least he didn't think he was, but he also never spoke to them, so it was kind of weird for him to kind of like just come up to him out of the blue and start talking to him. He was caught off a little bit off guard. And remember, he's completely forgotten about bumping into them until like they start talking to him, right? And they say, like, they come up to him and they're like, so you chose to fight us. You chose to start the battle and we're gonna finish it. And Clarence is like, I think you have me mixed up for someone else, bro. I'm pretty sure I'm not the guy who started this battle that you're talking about. I legitimately have no idea what you're saying. And they're like, no, it was 100% you. You bumped into us, which is a understandable battle cry. And yes, you're a fool for this though, because we will absolutely smite you in battle. And Clarence is like, oh, no, that was like a mistake. Like, I didn't mean to bump into you. That was an accident. Like, I'm sorry, my fault. And they're like, no, you can't take back your declaration of battle. This battle was started by you, but will be finished by us. And one of the kids, the one who sits like L from Death Note, like kind of like reaches out of his backpack, and Clarence is like, hey, yo. And what he reaches out of his backpack was a black notebook. And on the front of the notebook says Death Note on it. If you don't know, there's like an anime Death Note where basically, I'm not going to spoil anything too important, but the main thing is there's a book, and if you write someone's name in it and like what they died from, like the person will die within like 40 seconds or something. I might have butchered that a little bit. It's been a second since I've watched it. Great show, by the way. But anyways, he whips out like a replica Death Note, and the other two anime kids are like, you don't want him to write your name in this book. And Clarence has never seen Death Note before. He was explained the premise by his friend afterward when he told his friend about this story. But basically, right, one of the anime kids whips out a fake Death Note, and he's just like, you don't want me to do this, bro. You don't want me to do this. And Clarence is like, do what? He's like, write your name in the Death Note. And Clarence is like, bro, what? I don't know what that is. This is like a book or something. He's like, no, it's not just a book, you idiot, you fool, you simpleton, you moron. If I write your name in the Death Note, you will perish. And Clarence is like, what? And Clarence is just like, all right, bro, write my name in that silly book. He's like, haha, you fool. And so the anime kid writes Clarence's name in the book. And he waits 40 seconds, and he's grinning the whole time, and then 40 seconds passes, and nothing happens. And he's like, Ryuk must have just nerfed this one. Ha ha ha. The other anime kids kind of look at him, and then they look back at Clarence, and they're like, you might have won this battle, but this is not simply a battle. This is a war, and we're coming back tomorrow with even more weapons and powerful. You will lose. And then they all kind of like Naruto dash away. And Clarence is like, man, why is this my life? Like, why am I here? Just to suffer? Real quick, comment anime down below if you want to harden your comment. The secret word of the day is anime. And if you binge watch my videos, please let me know in the comment section. That's the best way to help me, to grow the channel is by watching a ton of videos. Playlists are in the description to help you watch the videos easier. And yeah, back to the story. But anyways, right, Clarence is kind of just like, oh, so this is going to be like a thing. Because Clarence is this, he's hanging on to the words where the anime kids were like, we're coming back tomorrow with even more. And Clarence in his head is like, bro, I don't want to have to deal with you guys tomorrow as well. Like, isn't today enough? Like, isn't like you writing my name in that book and then nothing happening? Isn't that enough for all this nonsense? But no, the days just get stranger and stranger because the next day rolls around. And once again, it is recess. And this time, Clarence is with one of his friends. And he notices out of the corner of his eye, the anime kids are rolling up. And he's just thinking to himself, like, bro, I'm not trying to do this right now. I'm hanging out with my friend. I'm having a good time. This is recess. This is supposed to be my break from the nonsense. This is not supposed to be the nonsense, ×2 extended edition. Like, I'm not trying to do this. And the anime kids come up to him and they're like, ha ha ha, you might have won yesterday's battle, but you will never win the war. And then all three of them whip out these fake plastic Pokeballs. And at this point, Clarence is like, bro, you cannot be serious. And they're like, oh, so you know what we're about to attack you with. And one of them yells, Charizard attack! And they just chuck the plastic Pokeball at Clarence, and it hits him. And look, it's not like actually like, okay, ooh, yeah, duh, Connor, it's not a real Pokeball, shut up, right? But it's like, it's plastic, it's hard. And it kind of hurt a little bit. And Clarence is like, ow. By the way, a massive real-life Charizard did not come out of the Pokeball they threw. It just kind of bounced off Clarence, and it hurt a little bit. So Clarence is like, bro, don't do that. That kind of hurts. And then the other one's like, Bulbasaur, attack! And just chucks the Pokeball again. And Clarence is like, dude, stop. That hurts. It's going to leave a bruise. The final one's like, Pikachu, I choose you. And just chucks the Pokeball. Once again, bounces off of Clarence. And he's just like, bro, can you not? And then another one takes out another Pokeball. Actually, it's the first one. And he's like, Blastoise. And he chucks it and just completely misses Clarence. He's like, bro, I'm going somewhere else. Like, screw you guys, I'm going home. So him and Clarence and his friend, like, they just walk away, and his friend's like, bro, what? So Clarence explains the story as I've explained it to you guys so far, and his friend is like, bro, that's so weird, like, I'm sorry you have to deal with this. That must be pretty annoying. So the next day rolls around, and this is like the craziest day yet. So once again, Clarence is at recess, and he's with a pretty big group of people. He doesn't know all of them super well, but, he knows enough of them well enough that, I don't know, they're doing some big activity or whatever. And once again, the anime kids come over. And Clarence is like, guys, I'm sorry, I have to deal with something. So he walks over preemptively, goes over to the anime kids and is like, what is it today? What's the massive battle? And this time, right, the last 2 days, there was a teacher like monitoring everyone at recess, but they were kind of busy looking at other things or something. But this time, the teacher happened to be looking at the anime kids and Clarence. And one of the anime kids is like, today we will have our final battle. And he whips out this big long sash, right? And Clarence is like, dude, what? And he unsheaths a katana from it. And Clarence is like, yo, you can't have that here. And the anime kid starts swinging his sword around all like, he's like, you cannot control my power. My power level is over 25,000 right now. He's like, takes out his like katana, starts, and the teacher runs up, and the teacher like sees a kid with a massive sword. And the teacher's like, no, oh my God, like this is actually insane. So the teacher calls the freaking police, bro, because, I mean, look, you can't bring something like that to school. The teacher both calls the police, tells the security guard, and the school goes on lockdown. So basically, after that happens, like there's something on the loudspeaker saying, students report to like your classrooms, this is a lockdown. And like all the students start like running to the classrooms. And Clarence has a sneaking suspicion that the lockdown is due to the katana anime kid. Because you can't bring a freaking katana. By the way, that's a massive long like sword used in combat in like the 1600s. You can't bring one, even if it's like a replica, right? You can't bring that to school. So sure enough, right, all the kids, they're like rushing to their classes, and yeah, Clarence and the anime kid, they do have one class together, and it happens to be like their next class is after recess. So yeah, they all go to the same classroom to lock down. And dude, the anime kid who has the katana is legitimately sitting in class with his katana, like it's in his like container or whatever. But it's very obvious, right? So they're all like in lockdown. They're all sitting in their classrooms. They're kind of all like sitting in the corner of the room with the shades drawn. I'm sure you guys have at least had like a lockdown drill before. Or maybe if you're not in the States, you haven't. But basically, right, you have to go in your classroom, lock the doors, and just keep everything like very still and as if no one is in there, right? So eventually, there's a police officer that comes around unlocking each of the doors and going in and assessing the situation. And the police officer eventually comes to their door, knocks on it, opens it up, and sees, right, the kid with the katana. And the police officer points at the anime kid and says, hey, I'm going to need you to come with me. And the anime kid stands up and he doesn't grab his katana because he's obviously not going to walk over to the police officer with a katana, right? And the police officer's like, points to the other officer, like, go grab that. So the officer kind of like walks over, grabs the katana, and the anime kid is like, no, that is my weapon of choice. And the police officer's like, yeah, that's also the reason why we're doing this. And I don't think the anime kid knew that that was the reason why they were having a lockdown until then. Even Clarence was pretty sure it wasn't because of the anime kid, but he had a sneaking suspicion. So Clarence is like, oh, look at who won the war, bro. Nah, he wasn't like default dancing yet. Just give him a second, though. So eventually, right, the kid walks out and the police officer has a talk with him outside. And Clarence, like, presses his ear against the wall, and the walls of the school are pretty thin, so we can more or less hear what the police officer is saying. So the police officer is explaining to the katana anime kid that, dude, you cannot bring an actual weapon to school. That's insane. Like, look, it's like, yeah, I get it. It might be a replica, but it's still very sharp and it could really be used like super dangerously. And that like, bro, it's super, okay, the officer didn't say bro, but like the officer was saying, it's super clear that this is a rule, that you can't be bringing this to school. Why would you think that this is necessary? And the anime kid starts to say, we were about to enter an anime battle or something like that. And the officer said, what, you were going to like use this in combat against another student? And the anime kid was like, well, now that you put it that way, I mean, the anime kid was slowly understanding that he messed up big time. The officer's like, I thought you were just bringing this in just to show it around. You were going to use it in combat against another student?
student. Like, this thing might be a replica. It's still very sharp. You could definitely actually do some damage with this. Do you understand? Do you understand why everyone had to lock down? And the anime kid is like, well, I don't understand why everyone had to lock down. It's not like I was going to use it. And the officer's like, you just said you were going to use it. And the anime kid was like, yeah, but just on one student. And he's like, so you're going to use it on a student? And the anime kid's like, well, everyone doesn't need to lock down if I'm not going to like enter anime combat with them too. And the officer is just completely speechless. So the officer's like, all right, come with me, and kind of motions to the security guard to come with them. And they walk him over to the, the principal's office, or it's some kind of official place. At this point, Clarence was obviously not in earshot to hear what went down, but TLDR, because he did hear from other people and just kind of like figured it out. The anime kid got suspended for 2 weeks, and he was now, after this point, on extremely thin ice. If he even sneezed in the wrong direction, right, he was going to get in big trouble. For some reason, right, the anime kid never said that it was Clarence when he was being, like, interrogated. He refused to say the name of the student that he was fighting to keep the anonymity, and oh my God, you know what I'm trying to say. He's trying to keep, like, I don't want to reveal my fellow soldiers and also my opponent in battle. I have respect for him or whatever. So Clarence never was a part of this. He never was asked in, and he also was kind of lazy, so he didn't feel like getting involved, and the kid was going to get in trouble one way or another. But after the fact, the other two anime kids that didn't get in trouble came up to Clarence, and they're like, you think this is over? You think you can vanquish one of our allies and get away with it? And Clarence is like, bro, I literally did nothing. I just stood there, and he just self-reported. That's not on me. And they said, no, this is on you. You better watch your back, because we will strike again. Vengeance will be ours. And to this day, the subscriber was telling me over on Instagram, which is in the description, that's where you can send in some stories to be featured on the channel. He was telling me that to this day, the anime kids have not, given their revenge yet. So maybe one day they'll have their master plan unfold and Clarence will figure out what the revenge is. But until this day, they are yet to strike. So yeah, you might be seeing a part 2, maybe. I don't know. Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it. A few days ago, my Instagram DMs were blessed with a story of probably, I don't know, the cringiest kid on planet Earth or ever, or whatever I'm going to title it. But today we got a wonderful story of just karma at its finest. I know you'll enjoy it. So strap in, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's call this guy Carl. So this all happened one day when Carl was just chilling in class, like minding his own business. Like he was doing nothing against the other guy, who we're going to call Ben. And Carl, who's just minding his own business, hears Ben start to, like, talk to this other kid. So Carl, who's interested now and who isn't really trying to do his homework because, I'm not even trying to do my exam work right now. Don't worry, Mom, if you're listening. I'm going to try very hard. Don't worry about it. But Carl was like, all right, what's Ben talking to this other kid about? So Ben goes up to this other kid and is like, I smell something. And the other kid is like, bro, like, get away from me, bro. What are you doing? And Ben's like, I smell single. I smell so much single all over you. I smell no girlfriend. You get no women, L. And this other kid is like, bro, yes. Like, you got me. I'm not dating anyone. And Ben is like, I knew it. My senses are never wrong. And Carl, who's just sitting here witnessing whatever just happened happen, is just thinking to himself, dear God, man, what has gotten into Ben? Because Ben was always kind of known as kind of a weirdo, but like, this is a whole new level. So Carl decides to go back to his work. This is actually motivating to do his work because he just doesn't want anything to do with Ben and his shenanigans at this point. And Carl is just looking down at his paper, writing it out, doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he hears footsteps approaching him, and he's just thinking to himself, oh my God, dude, like, please tell me that it's not Ben. And he looks up, and sure enough, it's Ben looking at him, and Ben sticks out his finger, and Carl in his mind is like, bro, if you touch me with that disgusting little pig finger, I have no idea where that's been. I swear to God, I will beat. And then sure enough, Ben is like, beep, and then touches him, and it's like, beep, 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 beep. Oh, it's the single detector. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, yep, it's reading. Oh my God. He like picks up his finger and looks at it. Oh my God, this must be broken. I've never seen a reading off the charts before for single L no women. Oh my God. Bro, are you okay? Do you need immediate medical assistance? And Carl is just looking at him like, bro, I'm just trying to do my work here. I'm not trying to engage with this. So Carl, who knows that nobody at the school, nobody, and Carl is not like involved in school drama. He doesn't really care. However, he still knows for a fact that nobody at the school, in no manner, in no way, in no position, it doesn't even matter, right, is dating or has any romantic interest or secret romantic lust for this kid, Ben. Carl knows this for a fact. So Carl says, all right, bro, you know what? Beep, 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 the single detector's all over you too, bro. And Ben was like, this is where you are wrong. I have a girlfriend. And Carl's like, all right, well, I know she doesn't go to this school. Like, I know she doesn't exist. And Ben's like, well, this is where she goes to another school. And Carl's like, all right, bro, like, I've heard that excuse literally every single, like, that's the oldest excuse in the book. She goes to another school. Yeah, right. You're basically saying she doesn't exist. And Ben is like, I will bring in proof. And he kind of like raises his voice to like everyone. He's like, everybody, I will bring in proof tomorrow that I have a girlfriend. I promise you. Because like, Ben has gone around to like at least 7 kids already and had done some kind of skit talking about how single they are. So all the other kids are like, all right, fine, yeah, let's see it. Let's see the proof. So anyways, roll around to the next day. So sure enough, the next day, Ben comes in with a photo and he starts showing it around to people. And he's like, proof. And everybody is kind of upset because, first of all, well, the photo is blurry and it's not super clear. And it's not like a full body shot, so it's very kind of difficult to decipher. However, it does look like, you know, Ben has a girlfriend and she's not like super ugly, unfortunately. I mean, look, it doesn't matter how your girlfriend looks, but she was like out of his league too, which just made it like more infuriating. So everyone kind of begrudgingly like accepted that Ben, in fact, had a girlfriend, and that, I mean, he didn't have the right to, like, go around giving them the beep bop, like, you're single L, like, skit or whatever. However, it's not as if he was being hypocritical when he was doing that. But Ben is like, he's thinking to himself, no, this isn't real. Like, something is wrong here, man. No way that someone like Ben, who acts the way he does, could get anyone like this. Not a chance. Not a chance. So Ben says, hey man, do you mind sending me that photo like later tonight? And Carl said that to Ben, and Ben's like, yeah man, like if you want to like sit there and cry like a massive river of tears, then that's totally fine, dude. I'll send it to you tonight. So Ben's like, all right, or Carl's like, all right, bet. Like, all right, that sounds good. So anyways, end of the day, and Carl's back at home, and he gets a message from Ben on Instagram because he didn't give Ben his number. No way he's getting his number. But they follow each other on Instagram, as that's a common courtesy. And he receives a photo, and Ben immediately downloads it to his camera roll so that Carl downloads it to his camera roll so that Ben can't like unsend it or anything like that. And he decides to look at the photo. And he's looking at the photo for a decent amount of time. And then it clicks, and he realizes the truth. And my God, is the truth something. Real quick, comment pillow down below. That's the secret word of the day. I'm pretty busy today with like exams and stuff, so I don't know if I'll be able to give out a heart to everyone, but comment pillow down below. You might be wondering why pillow is the secret word of the day, and you will see in just a second. Carl, after examining the photo, realizes that he knew that the girl looked suspicious. Because when Ben was showing off the photo of the girl to everyone else, he didn't let them examine the photo that closely. And Ben must have been like riding some high of like L, take this L, like whatever, like energy, that he completely forgot like his plan and allowed Ben to like see the photo for himself. Because the only reason why people fell for this was the photo was far away, it was kind of blurry, but it definitely looked like a girl, and it was like almost like it was proof enough if you didn't look at it that closely. But when Carl looked at it really closely, right, he realized that the girl looked suspicious because it wasn't a girl at all. It was a photo of Ben, and the very top half of one of those anime weeaboo body pillows, bro. That's why it looked wrong. And the thing is, like, for some reason, you couldn't really tell that it was that from, like, far enough away because it was blurry and you're far away. So as soon as Carl figured this out, that the, you know, that the photo was like, you know what I mean, was a photo of some kind of like freaking body pillow thing, he immediately calls one of his friends in his class, who I think, I don't totally remember, or Carl didn't, I don't remember because I wasn't there, but Carl didn't specify in the Instagram DM. By the way, send me these stories on Instagram. It's in the description. That's how you submit them to me. But anyways, right, Carl was like calling up one of his friends who he doesn't remember if Ben did a little skit to, but there's a good chance he did. He's like, dude, you're not going to believe what I just figured out. Ben sent me the photo of him and his girlfriend. The guy that he was calling was at least in class and knew what Ben was doing and was like, bro, what about Ben's girlfriend? And he's like, dude, let me show you. So he sends him a copy of the photo and his friend is looking at it. He's like, yo, something's up with this. And Carl's just like, dude, just keep looking at it. And then he waited a second and he heard over the phone his friend go, yo, that's a freaking body pillow, dude. And Carl's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the friend's like, I'm sorry, I'm sending this everywhere. And Carl's like, okay, fine. Like, Carl was feeling a little bad, but then he just immediately remembered what Ben was like doing to him and everyone else in the class. And he's like, screw it, yeah, send it everywhere. So the photo goes everywhere. Everyone in their class sees it and realizes that Ben's girlfriend, who's been relentlessly bragging about and insulting them over, right, is actually some wife, like anime waifu body pillows. Dude, so they get into class the next day and everyone is like, hey, Ben, beep, beep, beep. Oh no, my single alert's going off. They were kind of like mocking and mimicking like all like the jokes and skits he was doing. And man was so embarrassed. He was like blushing the entire day. He didn't say a word. He had his like hoodie on and it was like over his head and he was just sitting at his desk. And moral of the story, don't be Ben. Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.